Hey, everybody, happy Friday. Happy Friday. Come on in. We don't have a lot of time. We got to get right to tonight's conversation. This is Relationship Recap, and you guys know we are recapping tonight's finale of The Never Ever Mets. I am Christal XO, and of course, you guys know who this guy is. Got to get my co host in the building. What's good?
What's happening? What's happening? What's happening, Crystal? What's happening, good people?
So I think we started off tonight. You guys saw the flyer. Our Love Connection XO is officially in effect. We are excited about it. July 13th. We have a lot of exciting surprises to talk to you guys about. We're going to get into that in a bit. Tonight's episode was the finale. And we did get the confirmation that there is no reunion. Overall, what did you think of tonight's episode? What would you rate it on a scale of 1 to 10?
Well, it changed when I saw the end. So I would give it 6.5.
Okay.
Yeah, 6.5. Because I thought one thing, but then when they did the bringing everyone back virtually, I felt totally different, but happy.
Yeah.
But happy. Not because it ended, because everyone seemed to be at peace.
You said that. Everybody, you know what? I'm gonna give it a 4.5.
Woo! Ouch.
I did not enjoy tonight's episode. I thought it was extremely boring. And I also just did not, I did not, I feel like we did all this build up. I didn't get any answers to the 12 years,
Now that's true.
I didn't get a lot of answers, I felt. And that pseudo check-in at the end, I didn't really enjoy. We got one answer, but ironically, as Janetta Knight says, the couple that we probably had the most questions about was the only one that remained intact. Now, you guys know we have a special guest joining us in just a bit, but we want to get into tonight's episode before we bring that person on. I do want to report that obviously there's no episode, but The Never Ever Mets has been renewed for a second season.
Dun, dun. Who knew?
Coming back.
Who knew?
Who knew? Who knew? Who knew? Second season, guys. But thankfully, we don't have to deal with that right now. But I just wanted to pop any balloons out there. Just pop the balloon on that. They are coming back for a second season. But let's get into tonight's show. You guys know my issue. I have been irritated all season long, all season with the Jody and Aaron situation. And I feel like tonight, my entire thoughts, my belief the entire season has been vindicated. I feel like Jody just strung him along until the very last day. Literally told him in the last episode, I'm not feeling you. She knew that she wasn't feeling him at all. When he tried to give her a necklace, she was pissed about him giving her a necklace. Like it just, I don't know if he's that clueless, as clueless as he pretends, showed us that he was, but it just bothered me. I feel like the show, Taronda should have basically held them accountable, because I feel like they just played in our face for the entire season. I just, that's the couple that I was the most disgusted with, because it was so clear to me that it was clear to all of us. Everyone.
What connection? He said there was at points there was strong connections, like half and half. And I'm trying to think what half was the strong, because I never saw it.
I think he is, you know what? And I know that a lot of people get upset when we said our opinion, but this is our opinion, and I think we have a right to our opinion. I feel like Aaron was trying to reenact what he felt like a man that was interested, a heterosexual man interested in a woman would act like. That's what I feel like he was doing. I don't feel like there was any real connection on either of their sides. I didn't like Jody's attitude, but I also know that when you don't like someone and you're low-key disgusted by them, it's hard to fake it. But the fact that they stayed the entire season knowing, and she knew from the jump that there was nothing there. From the first time they sat down, the first episode, we all sat down together, all of us together and watched them on that first date with the charcuterie board, and she was disgusted.
Okay,
From that point forward, she was consistent. Her energy towards him remained the same.
But it was towards him
only.
As soon as she said what she needed to say, finally, you could tell the weight was off of her shoulders. She smiled like she never smiled before. Her energy was totally different, and I was like, obviously that was it. But when they showed the clip of her when they were home, I guess on their different, when they were talking to each other, my energy was upbeat there too. And we disagree, but I just like, I thought that was it. It was, maybe she saw something. She didn't have real confirmation, but when she saw him and saw the energy in person, she was like, you know what I mean? And it wasn't.
Okay, so clarify that, because for the viewers, so you feel like she thought she might have liked him, and then when she got there to the show, she realized that there was energy that she wasn't feeling, and that's what happened.
Yeah, because there's no way you could be talking that long, and now when you get here, the shift, the only thing that changed was you're here in person, the energy. Now, if you told me they got on the app to be on the show, that's something different. But what I'm assuming is they contact people that were already on apps that already had stuff going on.
People had to audition if you were in this situation.
Okay.
You had to audition if you were in this situation. And actually, if you look at the page and my page, here we have an opportunity if people want to be on a reality show.
Yeah. If
you're based in Georgia, there's the opportunity. The link is there for you to click that. So you guys, if you are interested, it's there. So there was they had to audition. They had to sign up for the show. They just didn't recruit people off of dating apps. But I believe, and you all can let us know what you think. I do like that. Hey, you 7 her 3. She says reality show sexual. That is a new term that we need to add to our dictionary, because I think that there are people that just want to be on a reality show and they're willing to go on the show with whoever is there just to be on the show. I'm with that. I'm feeling that. I feel like I need to pin that comment. Because that is what I feel like we saw. I don't feel like, as a woman, I feel like you could talk to him on FaceTime or any type of video chat and you would see those same, I don't feel like you could talk to him on video chat and not get that same energy through the video chat. We have only watched him on television, right? We have not had a conversation with him in person, and we get that energy there, right? So I don't feel like she really liked him. I feel like she thought it was an opportunity to be on television, and that's what they did. I would never believe that she literally was interested in Aaron at all.
She definitely was. That was I just saw her energy was like, where did this person show up? Just the big smile from ear to ear. She was in the house. She was jokey with people. I was like, oh, she suppressed this whole time.
But think about it. Like, have you ever think back, close your eyes behind your shades, close your eyes and go back in your head to a time when you were sitting with a woman and you did not like her and she was touching on you and talking and you think back to how your energy was, how your skin kind of itched, how you wanted to get out of that situation. What if you were in a house with that woman for 6 weeks?
I'll be avoiding her for 6 weeks.
But what if you couldn't avoid her?
You just couldn't. I mean, I've had people and just be like, well, I could tell you're not into me, or you never really looked me in my face, and they were correct. And that was it. But it was never a second time.
But I'm saying, what if you were forced to be? Well, and she wasn't forced. This was a free will. This was free will. But I'm just saying, if you try to make yourself, my point is, if you try to make yourself be around somebody that you don't like, that likes you,
then you got a whole nother problem going on.
It don't feel good.
You got a whole nother problem going on there. Yeah. Something else is wrong with you.
That's true. That's true. What's up, Masha? That is true. That is true. Hey, actually, Aubrey. So I feel like that situation, I feel like it was fraud, and I feel like she tried to hold it out. I also feel like she probably didn't realize how bad she looked to the viewers, because she's thinking, I'm gonna be on this show and I'm gonna stick it through. But dragging someone else, she literally said, I don't want to lead you on, but you did that for the entire time.
You already did it.
You did it all the entire season.
Yeah, that was kind of messed up. And then he got the sad face. But was he really sad?
I want to ask, do you think he was really sad? Do you think he was really sad? Hey, baby.
Do I think he was really sad?
What do you think those faces were? I think at one point he bit his lip. I do. I feel like he was like...
Saying what? What would that mean to you if he bit his lip? What does that mean to you?
I just think that I don't think he's a heterosexual man. I think he may be in denial. And I think that if he is in denial, I want him to come on out. Or just don't go on TV and lie. Because there's one thing to being in the closet. Like, I think, I understand that some people are not in a place in their life where they're ready to just, share their sexual orientation. But the problem is when you come on TV and lie, you can't be a victim anymore. Not a victim. Let's come on TV.
Okay, I can, yeah.
So that's my thing.
Now, in that situation, it was like that. You said he bit his lip, right?
He bit his lip.
Now, were there any music going on in his head, you think, when he was doing that? Yeah. That might have been playing in his head. Possibly.
Smoke in tandem.
Possibly.
My dragon is.
But there is, because he does seem like the dude ain't bothering nobody. You know what I'm saying?
No,
he have no issue.
Came on TV and you were not honest.
Yeah, like he didn't have no issue. So that's when your heart kind of be like, you feel sad, but then you like, hold up, I still think it's something else up.
Nah, you tried to trick us, and I understand everybody wants to be on TV, but there are other shows for that.
It's a whole channel for that.
Yeah, a whole channel. Lots of, I'm sure that Zeus has and lots of not too much that her daughter started dancing. Hey, it's a catchy rhythm, right? It's catchy, but I mean, I don't think that he is. That's just my opinion. That's my opinion.
But I mean, he's very deep. They had the break necklace, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of Scorpios in that house too, I noticed.
It was. Your people were in full effect.
Definitely were. And then he brought out what was the second gift? He brought outside to do what?
Oh, so it was I guess it was diamond in the necklace. And then he did the dance. He did the
it was the salsa.
The salsa that he had Sandia teach him how to salsa.
See, like that, you know what I'm saying? That's all right. Like if it was a connection, but the fact that you keep going forward knowing
he had to see her facial expression.
That's what I'm saying. At that point, why play yourself and push it? Dog. When I notice this, when a woman says, I had a woman do this to me before. When a woman says you're doing something nice or and they're like, no. When they do that long no and stretch it out like that, retreat.
That's true. I've done that. Now that you said, I have done that in that voice. No, no. I mean, it
Like,
really is like,
no, don't do that.
I don't want to have to tell you no.
Right.
And I feel bad about this. And oh, you're so sweet, and I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But no.
When they do that,
No. Yeah.
dog, retreat. Don't listen to them. Yeah. That means that's the I don't really like you like that. No.
It is the I don't really like you like that. No. And the reason that I will not give her a pass, Miss Rhonda, is because, like you said, she did send us, Jody found 8 million reasons to give us excuses about why she was not into him. And I have boundaries. I went through, but when you tongue down Sandia without any boundaries and was totally like that took away.
Great point, Christal.
Everything was null and void after then. You don't have because she act like she was freaked out and traumatized by him kissing her on her forehead, but yet she tongued Sandia down.
Great point.
Not go together, ma'am.
Great point.
No, we're not going to do that. No. Okay, so let's move on to our guest is supposed to be on. Let me check on our guest. Biggest surprise for me was Diamond and Aaron.
Which part?
Them not being together. Them being together, but being at odds.
Right. But they said what though, right?
You said what?
Oh, but he couldn't leave his exes alone as friends.
Yeah, and he did all that talking about she's right for me, and all this talking, and all the younger people on that show. Oh, thank you, IMTB. Yes. Oh, the fish is okay. Thank you for asking. Jacaris is alive. He's chilling in the back. Yes. What was I saying? Are you laughing at the name? Aaron. Druzy said Aaron is for the streets. Aaron came on this show and basically tried to preach to everyone else. And then the behavior that he exhibited when he left suggested that, age is not always indicative of maturity.
This is a fact.
And then on top of that, when Taronda asked him, would he let go of his exes in order to keep the relationship with Diamond, he said no, which suggests he is not ready. He is unserious.
But that's a real dilemma in a lot of relationships.
Is it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like, because the argument is they've been, at this point, they're supposed to be just friends, right? So it's like, you may go, but you see what I'm saying? If you go, they've been my friend this whole time, and then something happened to you and I, they're not my, you see what I'm saying? They're going to be around.
I can see that when it's talking about a girlfriend and boyfriend, but when you feel like you're ready to get married and that person is your person, if you're ready to get married, the vows say forsaking all others.
No. I agree with you. I'm just saying that's their argument.
Yeah. So I don't, and the fact that he was so adamant about not wanting to let them go, and Diamond was crying. It just made all of his preaching all season seem ridiculous.
Exactly.
Ridiculous. And I understand why the other couples were like rolling their eyes at them. I feel like he was trying to make for good TV.
They did kind of playing with the furniture though. But it's a good thing they did. I mean, but then again, the people that got it, they not together no more.
No. The only couple that was strong were the one that we felt was the most unhealthy, which was Sandia and Chris.
Yeah.
Who was surprised? Raise your hand in the chat if you were surprised to see them together.
He was at the crib.
I was not surprised, and this is why. I feel like, Americans, the American culture, not Americans. Okay. American culture is not really. Like, there's nothing that we are super committed to. But a lot of times other cultures are very, they have a very specific way of doing things, right? And I feel like their families, there's cultural
Community.
tradition. Yeah. So when I knew that they were both from the same culture, I was like, because he's doing all this bravado talk, but at the end of the day, he got to make his mama happy. He's Haitian. They have a whole tradition. And I felt like he wanted a woman like her. She's a beautiful girl. And she was a woman that he could picture as a wife, or at least a long-term serious girlfriend. She carried herself with class, and he
That's
valued
key. That's key. And when a man sees that, now a lot of times in those situations we put the women on layaway when we're not ready. We hold on to them just enough to like let them know we're there, but we know we're not ready. But we still try to keep not tabs, but a connection to, which is kind of wrong. You dragging it out, but she was a solid, respectable. She ain't look crazy on camera. We might have thought, but she had everything. Even her confidence level seems to be a little bit more up than it was on the actual show.
Yeah, I think what makes me sad about situations like that is that we all have heard the term struggle love, right? And we've heard that by the time a man, he has a woman that's good, and he not just put her on layaway, but he'll be in a relationship with her, but still keep doing his normal stuff until he's ready to stop. In the meantime, you've hurt her a lot. You've put a lot of heart, you've broken her heart numerous times. And then you get ready to settle down and you're like, oh, she stood by me and I put her through so much. You shouldn't have to put somebody through a lot in order to, and them stay through that in order to know that they love you. And I feel like that could potentially happen. That's my only concern with Chris and Sandia. I think he definitely sees her as a wife, but I don't necessarily know if he has everything out of his system, because I feel like he was testing her boundaries a lot, asking her, trying to get her involved in a threesome situation, testing her, pushing her boundaries, even letting her overhear him talking to the rest of the cast in a slick way, testing her boundaries. And anytime a person is testing something that they know is good, they're not ready to appreciate it yet. So I just don't know about that.
And then a lot of those guys from other places, like, they really look of most men do qualities of them. Again, qualities of their mother. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you don't see that. This kind of like, but culturally, a lot of those women move the same way because that's how they were raised to move that way.
They do. Okay, well, we have our special guest has entered the building. And without further ado, let us go ahead and bring in Greg.
Oh, wrong.
What up, though? What up? Christal?
What up?
Scorpio Moe, what's up, man?
Mo, where's the hand clap? Where is the clap?
I got it right here.
We'll do it.
I just did it.
That's the hand clap. Hey, man. Okay. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for having me. As long as it ain't that other song, that other little spicy song, I'm straight, man.
Nah, you good, brother. You good.
No, we didn't do the spicy song for you because you came across as great. First of all, welcome, and can we all give a happy birthday to Millie, because today is her birthday, correct?
Oh, you
better know.
You shouldn't be asking me that now. They know better to ask me that. You know what I'm saying?
I can raise man. Hold up now.
Well, you learned the date, Greg.
Christal, I sure did, ma'am. I woke up with it on my mind. I wake up early. That was the first thing I did. I sent her a happy birthday. So shout out to Millicent Reed. Still my baby girl, and I hope you have a great day, man. So shout out to Millie, man. Happy birthday.
Good deal. I thought that was really cool that after all the conversation about her birthday, the finale was on her birthday today. So, Greg, first of all, I want to show we pulled some pictures from your Instagram.
Hey, man.
Oh, man. I believe in women. I'm just a student. I don't know what's going on. Somebody had sent me something. So.
Greg, now is this you? Greg, what's going on in that? What were you doing some modeling? What exactly? Because our viewers enjoyed.
The ladies loved it.
They was feeling it, man.
They was feeling it, man. I ain't going.
Oh man, yeah. Hey, shout out to that. Yeah, I do some of that, Christal.
Okay.
I try not to lead with that or anything like that. It's something I do. I guess you'd say on the downtime. I've never really taken it as seriously as I probably should. But looking at that, I would say that may have been 2 years ago, just off the top of my head. So so that's cool. But yeah, I try to tell them, get you someone who can do both. I can't speak for y'all. I'm not saying it's good or bad, right? But I've been told that probably looks 1,000. That looks completely different than the person you probably saw on that show. As far as just the appearance, I just like to change it up, man. I get bored.
Yeah, we definitely it was a different look, but I think the viewers appreciated it. We're gonna start out like this. I just wanted to remind the chat, of because we showed the picture last week. But one of the issues that we've had with this show, and congratulations to your cast because you guys managed to get the show is renewed for a second season. So you all did a great job of actually showing and
Christal, thank you. I'm sorry to interrupt at all. I have no idea. I haven't even seen it. So I'm just all ears, and I'll piggyback off that. I have not seen the finale, and I didn't know that. So that's what's up.
Yeah. You guys got there's a second season because of what you guys did this season. So that means that y'all did you understood the assignment.
I had to die on the cross, man, for those.
Woo!
Mo, I'll let you start. I'll let you start with questions for Greg.
Right, real quick. So initially, how did you hear about the show to get on it?
Yes, sir. And both of y'all, just quickly, anything you want to ask, if I have the answer, I'll give it to you. So that's
appreciate that. We
don't feel like you got to tiptoe or patter around anything. But my man Mo, when I first heard about that, I'm kind of in that world, so to speak. So let me just get this off. I'm gonna paint this quick picture that's gonna answer the question, right?
Okay.
Ain't nobody playing in y'all faces. You guys are not fools, and the audience are not fools. Mm-hmm. So Millicent and I, we've been talking on and off. We've known of each other for 3 years. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
That doesn't mean we're exclusively dating or anything like that. I know LA traffic is crazy. It's crazy. Come on, but we could have met in the middle. Come on, I don't want to make that sound just like, we just wasn't doing a thing. Bless her heart. That's why this day is kind of bittersweet to me because I wasn't following her at the time anymore because she had a man. She had a boyfriend. And, on the birthday, Christal, you know how this is, baby girl. Y'all think you're slick. Post a picture of some brother's shoe with a damn wine glass. I saw a big old ashy foot. So I already knew it was unavailable at the time. So, that was on the birthday. So, not to make it sound bad, I just unfollow those that I can't get to right then and there. I'm not hating. It doesn't do anything for me to serve me. So I'm happy for her, but that's beside the point. So I think when it finally came around, I forget, Mo, exactly how I heard about it, brother. The concept is what just rang true to me because I was like, right, I've got something in mind right here and now. I've been trying to get on the same page with Shorty, who's beautiful, this, that, and the third, and she's cool, but we can't get there. Obviously, if we can kind of get the push. She lives on the other side of Hollywood, which is North Hollywood. I'm closer to the South Bay, kind of by the water.
Okay.
It's not an excuse at all, but it's just a long-winded way of saying that's how it kind of started. It was my idea where I said, Mills, how you feel about this baby girl? Let's see what happens. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And just be open and vulnerable. And when you put in for things, guys, at least speaking for me, I'm always confident, but you never truly know. Right. And I never Google searched or whatever. If it happens, it happens. Control what you can't control. And lo and behold, when you kind of get to that interview, and not to sound presumptuous at all, they know a swan from a duck. They see what they're kind of looking at and what's good and compelling kind of for TV, right? Mm-hmm. So as long as it's incumbent on us not to trip up on the interview, they liked us, and you start getting start checking your email. Christal, hey, Mo, did you get that text? You never really kind of get that you're on until a showtime kind of thing. Okay. But that's how that went, man. And lo and behold, our schedules intertwined and matched up, just to put a ribbon on that sentiment. I was single at the time and she was single, and the universe just matched up and aligned for us.
Okay. Yeah. So let me ask you this before that, because obviously it sounds like you saw her online, you thought she was attractive. She's a beautiful girl. She obviously was attracted to you. What was your dating life? What's your dating life like? Because people tune in here because we love talking about dating and relationships. What is dating like for you in LA?
It's crazy, it's because regardless of some of those photos, Christal and how that may come off as arrogant, those who don't know me, and I know it's just a picture, but that's not just really me. I think maybe just from the small sample size, you can see like he can get kind of deep, or just maybe my vernacular, or just how I speak, or just whatever. I'm a better listener, I think, than I get credit for, as far as it's not all sexual for me. I think the production did a grandiose, perfect job. It's so hard to mesh so much film within 42 minutes. You know what I'm saying? So I have no kind of, I feel no kind of way about that. But I suppose if there's one thing to answer your question, Crystal's like, I didn't really want to come off as a sexual deviant, so to speak, of that's all I want, sex, that. Because that never came up when I was talking to Mills, just in a person, so to speak. But I'm an honest guy. She asked about the dating life. I had been kind of cavalier, and you're just dating, you know. And sometimes to me, Christal, dating could mean dating 3 women at a time. It could just mean 1 or 2. I don't have a set number, but it just depends. You know what I'm saying? How serious I'm going with her, or I'm the kind of guy like I like to go to the movies. I like to grab something to eat. I'll kind of hit you up, Christal. You want to slide? And sometimes if it's worded like that, it could be friends. But if you keep doing that a few times, it can kind of mess with her head, perhaps mess with mine. So that's probably how it is. And I hate to kind of say this. Sometimes you can't kind of know what you can kind of get away with, so to speak. So I don't feel like it's a crime because I'm single.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Right, Mo? So, like, not to toot my own horn, like, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I've never cheated on a woman. I don't need a gold star for saying that. It's just, but if there are probably loopholes with the dating, I've probably found those crevices. So it's pretty accurate. But at the same time, I like to do things by myself and really sit back and chill too, because it's taxing, it's tiring. It's not so much the monetary thing now. It's time is money, right? And I'm sorry, when I was trying to log in, I heard some of y'all kind of talking about like, there's only 24 hours in the day, right? And Mo, you alluded to, we've all had partners that you probably weren't feeling like that, but you're like, why am I here? I'd rather just went to sleep or did some yard work, just something crazy, because I don't want to break your spirits or hurt you. You know what I'm saying? So if I know where's this going, why did I come out? Even if I get to score, whatever that is, was it really worth it? Did it serve me? Is the answer I'm searching for. So Christal is active.
Worse.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Yeah. So, okay. So you guys didn't, so at the time, initially the show kicked off crazy, right? The show kicked off with, basically Alexis, calling on your hoochie daddy shorts, and it was just a lot happening. Obviously, you and Millie were very attracted to each other, but it wasn't, you guys carried yourself really well. Like, well, we'll get into the issue that we had with her. But for the most part, you guys were unproblematic together. For the most part.
For the most part.
For the most part. But when it kicked off, what were you thinking when you first entered the house, especially those first couple of nights? Because the rest of the cast, especially the situation with Alexis and Dominique, it was off the chain, like from the jump.
From the jump. And to answer that, Christal, the best thing is like none of that is scripted. I will say that. And I guess that's the good and bad about it. You kind of put people in the house, you don't know what you're going to get, but you know us, and just it can get 0 to 100. As far as me, they kind of told us about the dates. I liked my date idea, of course, Christal, but I know how them paddle boats can go, especially when you have a woman. And Mo, you probably been on one of them boys too, man. Them things ain't no joke with your legs. It look cute, sound good until you on that water, and 2 minutes in that you're panting and everything like that. So that was probably my last choice. They gave us 5 kind of choices, Christal. I really kind of want to take Mills, like, since we live out here, like on out on the ocean, go see some dolphins or something like that on a little boat and everything like that. But control what you can't control. I went into that date feeling good about myself, but I did kind of feel like, man, I wish I could have done more for her. Chris, when you get in the house and you hear mofos are up in aviation, up in helicopter rides, this, that, and the third, you're like, God damn, like, why? Like, come on, man. Like, your boy can think of something better than that.
Yeah.
But as far as everybody was such a cool person, at the same token, I love a good laugh like anybody else, but I was there for my shorty. And if there's any kind of downtime, aside from shooting the shit with the fellas, part of my tone, I'd rather just been with her. So I missed that at night, Christal. At the very end, I can kind of heard it, but I'd say liquor kind of played involved in that. And I found out about the hoochie thing from TikTok. Somebody was telling me about that. And Dom was a cool guy, and so was Alexis. I don't think I had a conversation with Alexis one-on-one, because mind you, that was I met them for 30 hours, so to speak, if even.
Yeah.
But so it just got crazy. I was at that table where, Chris was kind of taking command and, his narrative. I think that's kind of why I just said enough is enough for me. I had my drink, go shoot the, go hang out with Mills. And then from there, there's no bedtime. There's no nothing. If you want to kind of still be up, mic'd up, and you're being active, production is there 24/7. It doesn't stop. It does not stop. So whatever happens that you saw at the end, I think Josh, I guess Diamond Josh, Shay, and Alexis and Dom were the only ones up that was like 2:33 in the morning, if I recall, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you think? Well, I don't know if you haven't seen it, but so tonight we learned that Josh, according to Alexis, Josh did hit on her, and and that conversation. Now that you said it, like with it being like up, and you could stay up however late, and conversations happen, like it's very easy to see how sexual conversations could start, and could happen, and Shay did acknowledge that she was asleep. She said she believed Josh though, but that she was asleep, and she did realize they were out together. So was there any, after that was brought up in the house, what were your thoughts on it? When are you surprised to hear that did happen?
I was surprised, to be honest. Surprised and then not, just because, I bless everyone's heart, I had not met them, so nothing would kind of surprise me. And I heard some of the Reddit going on downstairs where it was getting live and liquor and everything like that. So I found out the following morning, and I got to start with this. Josh is my guy. That's my boy. So that's just my disclaimer, but I'm going to give an unbiased take. If you ask me, Christal, I don't think he did that at all. Okay. At all. I heard some of the rhetoric. When I had the hoochie shorts, those are swim shorts. I had swim trunks, and I had the damn champagne. I was about to get in there with baby girl, and we was about to go do our thing. So that's how editing kind of works. This, that, and the third. But as far as Josh, I think he did tell me that he had said a joke, something to it. But at the same token, I can see how maybe that was misconstrued because she doesn't know. But I will got to say this, like, I don't like my man's name kind of being slandered because he didn't have to break that up. And I'm not saying he did a Herculean effort. It probably takes a deplorable person not to get involved, right, when there's a kind of that incident going on. Right. It seemed like it's turning over where it's like, I stopped this. I brought you into the crib with my girl to kind of calm things down, and all of a sudden, out of the wind, where is this kind of coming from? And what are the benefits of it, Moe and Christal, to be completely honest? There's never any good time to say it. Yeah. Like I said, I think he's innocent. Now, there could have been some kind of jokes. Yeah. I'm not calling Alexis a liar at all because I was not there, but it's all about the timing of it. I just found kind of funny, and it just sounds like you'd have to be damn messy, Moe, as a guy. And I know we do some foul crap, right? But when Shorty's right in the next room to get off, that's night one. Like, we don't even know the lay of the land of the house yet.
Yeah, like I sometimes I'm not surprised, but that one I was just like, I didn't see any of that in his character. Like, that's really, really grimy.
That's grimy. What did he say, Christal, if I can ask? Like, this show, she said he tried to do something, or they just talking?
Yeah, basically that they mentioned that he had mentioned a threesome, and then that he had tried to get at her. But, and it's funny because the first thing Moe said was, I don't necessarily believe that. Let me ask you this. I thought that her making the comment and complimenting your shorts was a little inappropriate, just because if I come in the, I'm married. If I come in the house with my husband and I'm complimented, like, it's one thing if you say you look nice, or, oh, that's a nice sweater, but the shorts and the way it was done, it felt like that couple, especially since we saw that they weren't necessarily connecting, right? It seemed like, Dominique wasn't really as attracted to her as maybe as you were to Millie. So it felt like it felt inappropriate to me when we talked about that on the show. Like, felt like it was a low key flirt.
Because it kept going, and you as a man, knowing that her man is right here in the room, did you feel any energy? Did you feel weird? Like, okay, enough, or did you even pick up on
it? It's funny you say that. Maybe a little bit of both to answer y'all question. Okay. I never probably grabbed the old funky bottle of Andre or Corbel so damn quick because I'm trying to slide to that jacuzzi. Because y'all know my girl. And it's not about being no simp or not talking. It's just like, we're just getting in here. This is the reason why we haven't met, because she kind of already had some of her doubts. So I can't even run that risk. Mind you, I did nothing wrong, Right. But nothing can come out of it if I stay in there and kind of entertain it. So I'm trying to grab it and slide. I didn't think anything of it just because that's all that's going over my head. And I'm just probably more focused on Mills. That's Millie. But to answer a question from both sides, I can see like you can say a joke and maybe it just kind of dead it. If you look back at it now, if it's being said a few times, but I guess in her defense, even if I don't know, I didn't think she was trying to get at me, but you know, I'm not seeing it from the lens of a woman, and I think she had went to talk to Millie, and actually Dom came in there to kind of speak to me afterwards, but it was on some chill stuff. It wasn't even nothing. So it was just kind of weird how it all went down as far as I don't know the motives and everything. But mind you, I didn't know how their date went, stuff like that too, Christal. Yeah. Maybe I will say this, and I got to lead with this. I'm not trying to be messy. You come in that house, right? You have nothing. Everybody was, not everybody, but some people were talking about threesomes just jokingly out loud at that table. We was playing bones and everything like that. Yeah. So if you come in that house kind of with your significant other, then you're not all the way solidified, and then you might come in there thinking, oh, Mo look kind of good, or Christal looking kind of good. That's just human nature in life. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It may kind of throw a little bit of a monkey wrench in kind of your situation. I was a little alert to that. I'm not saying anybody was, but let's just use the human element, right?
Yeah.
Some people, I'll say some guys, and you probably guessed, and like, what if y'all traded your women, and like, is that kind of stuff? And I didn't think none of it. Like, first of all, you can try, and I don't even think it's not even that kind of show. But that kind of paints the picture of how some people may have perceived it. So I grabbed that champagne and got in the hot tub just because I didn't.
Smart man.
But she was very nice. I have nothing bad against Alexis. I wish it didn't happen like that. Like I got, and we can talk about it later, Chris. So I got kind of vocal. It didn't really show that. Like, why are you bringing this up? She's a great woman from what I saw. It could have been you, but it isn't, right? You know what I'm saying, Mo? If you just held it together, you could have been here. So it's like anybody trying to infiltrate the house. What are we doing? Why are we calling people from across the globe that you met? And don't give me, this ain't high school.
Right.
Oh, you met for 12 damn hours, a hot damn second.
Right.
Worry about your significant other. So that you go on other shows, and that's why they kind of strip you of them phones for kind of good reasons and stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because like, even if he did, like, what do you get from that? Like, and then the story, I've heard mixed stories, and so it's like, anybody kind of maybe believe in that? Maybe you should kind of listen to Josh's story, because I guess I don't feel like his has changed. Mind you, I don't have everything that's been going on.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think that was the consensus of the audience. Like, I don't know what happened, but if anything, you guys are all there the first night. Nobody's met, so nobody's in a relationship. We know that the show says that you're dating, but if you're not, we're adults. If you haven't seen someone in person, you're not dating them. So you could be talking to them and enjoying a conversation, but realistically, you can't have a commitment with someone that you haven't seen. I don't think. It just doesn't make sense to me. So there's no type of loyalty or commitment. So I wasn't surprised to see some flirting, but even if that did happen, what would be the point of calling and trying to say that later? Like if I met someone and on the first day that we met, he tried to holler at somebody else, but we're 4 or 5 weeks in, I don't really care what happened then because we weren't even at that point. You know what I mean? So I feel like it was a little bit messy. It also probably was good for TV.
Of course.
Oh, absolutely.
Of course.
Yeah. But I do want to ask you before we pivot off of that, the situation with Alexis and Dominique was really unfortunate to see, because I know you weren't there, but even if did you get a chance to watch it? Did you see that interaction, and what were your thoughts on that?
When they were in the house, Christal,
when they were in the house, the physical interaction that they had where he pushed her.
All jokes aside, so my roommate the first time, while he was there was Brandon. So that was we just happened to have like a room that only had 2 beds. So I was like, let me get in this one. So Brandon kind of came in later. We heard some noise. Now, mind you, I didn't hear nothing that sounded like a domestic disturbance. Otherwise, I'm not Hercules, but I would have came down and did the right thing to try to help, deal with that. But it just sounded like just yelling and shouting and I had my door shut. So I didn't hear about anything until the next morning. But I was not surprised because you can get active in that house. They don't babysit you, which is cool. Like, you are grown, and that's why you got to make the own decisions for you. Mo, I get on that phone, brother, that house phone, make one call, that liquor, what you need, my man, I got it coming for you.
Right.
And he'll bring it on over. Now, it's the first night, Christal, so they want to see people get a little levitated. Let's see what they do, you know what I'm saying? And if you get a little too rambunctious, they'll take it away and everything, and case in point like that. So And I know, I'll just say at first, I'm a whiskey guy. We had that out there. I was taking a shot with my guy, Dom. The fellas was shooting pool, taking a shot. Then they switch over to tequila. Everybody's grown. I'm not making no excuses, but I'm just saying, yeah, like I said in the show, nothing good happens, at 2 a.m. Take your ass to bed, probably. I don't know. Or try to talk with your girl. There's places you can go. The jacuzzi don't close. There's other places that you can talk and just do something with. So, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
you can suck toes in the boom boom room. You never know. You can do all
why did you bring that up, Mo? I do think that, I mean, you it was places you can go, but you were blessed to have a girl that you were attracted to. Dom was pretty clear, at least on camera, that he wasn't really that attracted to Alexis and that it was not necessarily what he expected. So I'm not surprised that neither of them really wanted to connect. And I think that could have been some of the angst that we saw. But in any case, that was unfortunate, and I'm glad that was taken care of early on. And so we can get to the rest of the show. So you all were there. We definitely felt like there was a lot of flirtation outside of you and Millie. We definitely didn't get into that. But I do want to ask you about the situation with Jody and Chris, because that ended up spilling over to Millie, specifically with Chris. First of all, Diamond saying that, basically speaking up for everybody and saying that everyone acknowledged that Jody seemed to be really, really interacting with Chris a lot, and that she felt like it was disrespectful. Now, she said that everybody in the house felt that way. And of course, when no one really spoke up, then she went off on Aaron, and then he came out and said, everybody thinks this too. And Millie was one of the people that definitely said that she agreed with that. What was your perspective on that situation? And then I just want you to be honest about the static that we saw between Millie and Chris. How did you handle that, being her significant other in the house?
Well, I'll address that first portion initially, Christal. That's a good question. I know, I forget which episode, maybe 2, I think. I think that conversation there was 2 laundry rooms. That was on the outside laundry room, and Millie and I were doing laundry. And then I think that's why I saw Diamond and Sandia. I think it was the 3 ladies. And then I just kind of slid and let them do their thing.
Yeah.
They're all in that room with like 15 beds, right? So the women, even though they had a huge closet, all that, this, that, and the third, but they're in there talking about whatever they talking about, right? Mo, you know this as a guy, like, man, I ain't trying to get involved in that. And I'm not saying I don't feel for you, but I'm trying to deal with this, tame this over here. I can't find time for this. So how that went, yeah, we might say a little thing here and there, but at least Millie and I, we weren't talking about that. Like, oh, I can't believe Sandia ain't seen it. Sandia is one of the sweetest people I've ever met or talked to. What you see on camera was really her. And you can probably say that for a few others, of course. But if it's not bothering Sandia, then it's obviously not. I don't know. She never came up and asked me for help. Maybe she asked the ladies, but one of those things was like, I didn't really feel like that moment, Christal, was to kind of galvanize the troop and talking about, we're all talking, because not everyone was really talking about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't that deep for us to kind of get involved. Yes, I see it, but that's what they got going on. If people want to kind of play oblivious to that, I don't know. There are other times where I take charge and, start talking about everything. And mind you, the editing can be kind of funky. To get into the second portion of Chris, I've never had any qualms with Chris. But I'm going to say this here now. He came into that night hot. And I'm just going to say this, and whatever you saw, just in my opinion, was watered down on that first night. And I really thought they did Chris favors. And I'm not saying Chris cares, or I don't know. I can't get in his mind. He's a good guy, but that kind of rhetoric of the maybe chauvinistic and the misogyny, that was going on forever. And so here's the thing with that, as it got into them latter episodes, there are plenty of times where if I feel like, Mills, baby, you're wrong, I'll talk to her off camera. We go in the room, we talk about that, right? But Christal, if a guy asks you, if I come up here, ask you a question, right? And we probably don't get on too good anyway, and I ask you, then be prepared for the fireworks. One of them conversations, I think, where I said something to Chris, like, man, if your girl kind of says something, maybe we should kind of dial down, big dog. Like, if she's making it a point, come on, you know what you're doing, for better or worse. That was in my room. And what I'm saying is, like, I thought we were going to dead that right then and there.
Yeah.
So I think on that scene where kind of Chris said, like, you got to look at it. The subject was over, right? But Mo, I've never said anything bad about Christal. Like, well, why are you bringing that up? Because now you just open up a can of worms and you asked the girl what she thought. And that's where it was probably the start of your ending. She kind of arbitrarily just came out, which maybe happened later, but you know, you don't set it off by then. You asked her a question and she's not meek or she's gonna speak her opinion. And it don't take a rocket scientist to probably figure out maybe that reminded her of somebody, a significant other or whatever. But women band together, and if you're not feeling that, the first night, Millicent wasn't the only one. They all jumped on him, man. And Chris has got pretty thick skin for that. I think Shay, Sienna, they all jumped in on him that first night with kind of that stuff. So don't ask our opinion and get mad at the response.
Right.
And if there's one thing I could have done to clean that up, y'all, not to be dramatic, I would have probably stayed in that little mediation on one of them episodes. I really thought they're grown, but I didn't envision shit blown up like that. I would have sat in the middle of that table like an HBO boxing fight, Mo, and just try to be the mediator.
Yeah.
But
we handled it very that was a delicate situation because it was early. Like obviously, in the males, as far as the males go, you were the voice of reason. I see that, but you were put in a position and it could have went left. Like you and him could have really got it. You see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. I'm sorry, brother. And then, I said this and I'm not trying to be on no raw shit or anything like that. But if something gets there, I got to handle it. I think you saw one of them episodes, I got 4 sisters and a twin. I get involved if I need to get involved, so to speak.
Yeah.
I'm probably protected from a distance because I trust their judgment. But now that you said your piece, I think, and then I get up and just know, if you make a move, we're never going to make it back. Because I think,
too, though.
What's that, man?
I think the guys in the house respected you too.
I appreciate that. I felt that, yeah. I felt that. Thank you for that. Because Chris, they're all good guys. That don't mean I agree with half the stuff that came out of Chris's mouth. Sometimes he be one of that guy, maybe like, it sounds good, and then just when you should put a lid on it, then it kind of turns left. Like, you had me. Oh no, like that. Like toothpick from Don't Be a Menace. Like, I was there with you. Nah, I ain't with on that subject. But they didn't get along. I will clarify, and you didn't ask this, Chris. So I think I'd seen a couple comments. No, they didn't know each other or anything like that. Yes, it kind of sounded a little elementary, like some of them insults, but everything gloves are off. Like, what? Show me your bank, this, that, and the third.
Yeah.
That just kind of got out of hand of, like, none of them are going to back down. I do respect Chris. I really do. And the fact of, I don't look at it from a woman's perspective, Christal, but it's like, I thought he was being calm on that. He can be condescending, but I think he was being calm at that table. And I like the fact he walked away, much like my guy, Brandon. There's no sense of fighting fire with fire.
Yeah.
At that time, I think he'd already blew the fuse as far as like, you're on, it's on with Millie because you just won't stop. And I don't think he did himself any favors as far as letting stuff slide. Like, I don't think at all that Chris liked Jody like that. This is just my perspective. Like I know they're good friends, but at the same token, maybe it kind of came off as a little high school where it's like, I know Mo, and I know this brother. I can kind of keep this one at bay because I know if I say jump, they might say how high. Right. I got a roll for you because I know you're gonna be smitten and you're on my team. But at the same token, I'm going to dangle the carrot because I get to kind of make my partner maybe a little jealous, that's not something I would have done. But I felt like I saw a little bit of that. And it's like, well, then don't get mad when people are bringing stuff up about it. Because,
man,
the guy, but it happened in that house 20 times, Mo. Christal, like, well, I don't get why everyone's asking, where's this coming from? Like, my G, like,
come on.
Don't do that, So like, that's my thing. Own it. Don't play that role, brother.
There you
go.
And
that's the thing that kind of irked me. Like, we ain't talking about this. Yeah. We see it, but I don't care enough to talk about it. Everyone sees it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I appreciate you being honest about that because I feel like I know, Chris's personality from what we saw is one that's very transparent. It's a lot of ego. It's a lot of fake ego, but I think deep down he's a really good guy. I think he just wanted to he probably was hurt, or he has this idea of what manhood looks like, and all that talking slick in front of Sandia and even being condescending to the other girls, it was just like extremely immature. It came off as immature, in my opinion. But I do want to, we talked about on this show with both, with both Millie and Sienna calling men the B word, like just like it really could have went to a different way with Chris and also with Brandon, because I appreciate the fact that he did walk away. I'm interested in what your conversation was with her, because that is like, once you put something like that out there, you are basically, even though you watch from a distance, it could have went totally different. If she called a man a bitch, he could respond differently, and now all of a sudden you're in the middle of something. The same way with Sienna, with her throwing that out twice. She's just blatant, like, you're a B, not just in front of a group, but also on camera. Like, that is really kind of going to a place that some men don't even allow another man to say that without there being some repercussions. So for a woman to say it in mixed company with cameras, it could have went in a very different way. So I give both of them grace for the fact that they were able to walk away. But, Mo and I have talked about how that still puts you in a situation where you probably didn't know exactly how he was going to respond. Because when a woman calls a man just out of her mouth, the BITC, at this point, we don't know what his response is going to be.
Absolutely. And, Mo, I'll say this, brother. I thought Brandon was going to call a shot, 8-ball corner pocket. Damn stick at her, shoot that shot. Right. All jokes aside, Christal, that's exactly it. And it's just, at this big grown age, right? Anything could happen on impulse. And we all have our limit, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? And I think, and this is not any kind of shot or to make it gender. I think oftentimes, though, Christal, women kind of know to push our buttons, of course. Yeah. And I commend both those gentlemen for handling like that. But to address your question, Millie and I did talk in the back, and it's just kind of pattered around like, babe, like you had some truth and stuff into it, but it doesn't mean. Sometimes you get more bees with honey it doesn't need to come off that spicy. You got to ask yourself, is it that deep? And I know he's got you there, but the objective is to not let him get you there, right? Because he doesn't really know you. It's still not our situation. And if we're all still arguing, like when it gets to kind of juvenile insults, nobody really wins that. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I looked at it like, yeah, we can kind of jeopardize everything we got going on in here. I don't want it to get physical or anything, but you know how this would go on the streets, to answer your question, Christal. Like, it could get bad. And like, I'm not trying to be messy here, but I think we can probably say this, and we can address this later with Big Aaron. Some of them things, like, it may sound good, and your girl Hercules and stuff over some dumb shit that, you can mess around, like, you know what I'm saying, and really, really come up hurt, wishing you didn't do that. That's not calling anybody a sissy. It's just, you willing to go there, someone's always willing to take it further. So I just think she understood that, and bless Millie's heart, man. Like, obviously, I'm more team her, but to be completely unbiased, there were just a plethora of things that already unwound her. You know what I'm saying? Like that. So, but even like, I shouldn't even say this. I did see the clip, like when he said he called her insult with the S word. I'll just leave it at that. That don't mean I would have charged up the stairs or anything like that, but I would have said something had I heard that. And I know Eddie didn't kind of make it look like I'm turning around, like I turn and looking in the camera, like but at the same time, Mo, like, I'd have to address that. And it doesn't mean I don't want to, but like there's something like, come on, that's my girl. Don't do that. Yeah. But those are things like I think we didn't really see any of those big interactions happen after that. And I'm not saying I'm the horse whisperer, but you see, I'm pretty cool and chill. Like, babe, let that shit die. Don't do that. Yeah. Josh and I are from a similar cloth where you didn't ask this, Christal, but Shay and Millie are very much the same when it came to that. There could be no chill. Okay. And everybody getting their wake, like you mess around and get run over, but you got to get them there. And the trick is just, I felt like, Mo, if I'm doing my thing as a man, which I felt I was, I'm going to keep her kind of calm. Not to say that's my job, but I can diffuse all the other stuff, because why are we worrying about this that has no bearing on what we got going on? Because you're saying all the right things, right? Bless her heart. I got to get here or there. I am trying to get here. It might be going over your head, but these are the things that, as a man, Mo, you see the trap. I'm not setting the trap. It's just how I move. Yeah. This is what I'm trying to do, baby girl. So you got to take me at my word with that and stop flying off the handle for some shit that's not even important.
It don't matter.
Right? What? Real, I'm with you, but that's much to do about nothing, like. Yeah, just let that die.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I appreciate that too from a man. I mean, I think that's what a man's supposed to do. You can't have two people flying off the handle. It's got to be somebody that's able. And I think that a lot of times what women need to calm down is a man that is calm and is able to be like, look at the big man, it don't even matter. Like that's a mature leadership, quality. So I appreciate
put
that.
It back in.
Real G moving silence, right, Mo? I'm not trying to take it there, but I'm like, I'm not saying I'm no OG, but like it's always that one boisterous person that really ain't got it. Like that's not, if you step to me the wrong way, I'm a feel that, I'm gonna handle that. But this is not, I don't have to be talking like that. I can get you kind of with the mouth game of just like, that's what I feel like you do as an adult, man. I can't go around knocking people out at this age or fighting people.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying?
You got it.
So let's get to an uncomfortable conversation, but it's one that we really had. We actually had a therapist come on because and talk to we had a conversation with a therapist because there was so much conversation about past trauma and sexual abuse on this show. But a lot of people have dealt with that and a lot of people are dealing with it. And so I think it was a teachable moment. Some of the conversations that we saw happen with you and Millie and the therapist and even also Jody, just it was a lot going on. Even Sienna, like it was just a lot of trauma coming to a head, at the show. So I want to ask you, that scene that got a lot of our audience kind of triggered was seeing Millie share about her past trauma and the abuse that she suffered, right? And you were very comforting to her and just to me offered a lot of support that kind of probably made her feel safe and comfortable. And then when you shared your own trauma, her response was, at least from what we saw in the edit, was to feel like it just wasn't the same type of comfort and solace. She felt like you were trying to take her moment, and our audience, and we, most of our audience is women, were very, very vocal about the fact that that was unfair and that you deserved better in that moment. So I asked you to speak to that.
Thank you, Christal. That's deep, and I want to start by just saying my heart goes out to Millicent and Jody. And if Sienna went through that, because mind you, I had kind of known about Mill's situation, but I didn't hear that about Jody until, you kind of get the playback and everything like that. So I actually will reach out to them because I feel like it's the right thing to do and just say, just words of wisdom and comfort. I guess looking back at that, Christal, I will start by saying Mo, and that was a long night for me, man. It probably was for all of us. I didn't really, the therapist was a great lady. I just didn't really want to do that. That's just not so much my speed. Maybe it's the male bravado, and stuff like that. Right. I didn't know what we were kind of going into. So, Christal, to answer your question, perhaps that's what Millicent, because that was her idea. Babe, let's do this. You know what I'm saying? And I knew we weren't going to be talking about surface level stuff, but I'm like, man, it kind of.
You weren't prepared for it.
Yeah, and there's never the right time, because I never shared that. And it's not like I'm sad that I did, but it's just. Christal, how do I say this graciously where it's like, I tell Millicent not just so much about this, but it's, as everything's not always just about you. Mm-hmm. I think when I was trying to comfort her and everything, because sometimes it kind of left me on that kind of, what do I do? Damned if you do, damned if you don't, right? Because then hold me, comfort me, grab this, and I'm trying to give you that reassurance, and then the next minute you may not need this. I don't need a guy, I don't need that. And it's like, man, hey, Mo, I don't walk on water, man. I can only go off what you give me, and everything like that. So there was one comment, I don't think they showed it. They kind of were asking like, let me ask you guys, is there a right response to somebody saying their trauma, right? If other than I'm very so sorry that this has happened to you, and try to comfort them, not overly grab them, just to kind of be there, put the hand on the shoulder, right? I think I kind of got jammed where it's like, what am I supposed to do? You're not going to make me feel bad about doing this because I feel like I've handled and acquitted myself as good as I can. And mind you, I'll do this 1,000 times over, Christal, but you'd already told me, and that's my first time hearing it like that, I think in another scene on the couch. So, I don't want to kind of go with the same kind of reaction, But yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm always going to be empathetic for you, but you're not going to make me feel bad about my answer of like, I'm so sorry that happened to you, and try to comfort you, because that's not an ill response.
Right.
And then there, I just thinking, Christal, I think it's a joint. I was told it's a joint, therapy session, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I would never try to go tick for tack. That's not even my style, my speed. I don't want to say I even misread the room, but I was asked a question, so I can feel that like that. So
no, we defended that. We saw the we defended that. It was like it was asked. I guess there was a look on your face or something, and the therapist caught that, and then you were asked. It didn't feel plain to me, and I don't think to Christal either, right, Christal? So we definitely spoke about that. It was like, wow, they asked this man the question. What was he supposed to do? I mean, it's a weird space. So I understand.
And I actually appreciated the fact that you were vulnerable enough to be honest, because I feel like that spoke to your seriousness about the situation with Millie, right? Because I know, like, you go to a therapy session with a girl that you're not really serious about. You're not dialed in. You're not being serious. But I think that you were open and trying to really give this a shot, and that's what caused you to be honest. And I also think, Greg, that our show, what we try to do here, which is, it's different because we have fun with it. But at the end of the day, we want to help people, right? We want to help people find relationships and find healthy situations. And so I think it was important for me to bring in a therapist so that we can explain to women, like, there are men that have suffered trauma as well. And we cannot, trauma is trauma. And even though men and women articulate their pain differently, that doesn't negate the fact that there is pain, right? And I think a lot of times we're not used to hearing men share. So I was really, really like, oh my gosh, like, he has opened up and sharing, and now it's being held against him, or, and I felt like that was unfair, As a woman watching that, I was like, wow. Now I can also say I'm a little bit, I'm a little older than Millie, and I've been through some things, so I understand in that moment. I don't necessarily think I would have reacted like that, but I also can give her grace because she's still fresh. The hurt is still there. She's healing still. And so she probably wasn't trying to not be the receptive partner. She probably you can't really help when your cup is not full, right? You can't pour when your cup is empty. But I do want you to be honest as a man in that situation, being open and honest. Does it reaffirm to you that it's not always a safe place to be honest with women about your pain?
Great question, Christal.
That's a profound question. It really is. It's one of those things that I'd like to say yes. I know no one would probably like to lead with that, just like I probably would imagine no woman, hey, my name is Christal. Guess what? I was assaulted back then. Now that's out the way, here's that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we all kind of move at our own speed. And I thought that was the best time for me to kind of do it, not just to open up, but to relate and put my cards out on the table, saying like, this may be why I kind of act or move like this. You didn't ask this, and I won't really specify in great detail, but I think I'd seen a comment. So one, I didn't watch that episode. I skipped past that. It's just hard for me. Any of the episodes, Christal Moe, they come out, it take me a few days just to watch them. I'm happy and blessed that I'm on. It's just me. I can do the clips, but I don't really like seeing myself on there. Mm-hmm. But once I knew that was there, and my family was telling me about it, I just bypassed that beginning episode, or portion of the episode. But that happened to me when I was a boy. I was a schoolboy.
Mm-hmm.
Yay high, you know what I'm saying? There's never any right or time for any of that to happen, I could only imagine. But just imagine knowing when you don't know anything, but you know that was wrong. You're probably old enough to kind of say something. That's where that kind of goes like, yeah, I try to walk around tough or just in my masculine frame or energy, not overdoing it. But there are things that Mo and we feel too. Mm-hmm. And it's always kind of hard to maybe Christal, because I'm not trying to go tick for tack, but it's just not subjective to one gender is just the best way to say it. And that's my broad term, as you know. And it sucks. It's sad, you know what I'm saying? And I wish it didn't happen, but that's probably the best way to say it. And to bless Mill's heart, like, I see what you're saying. It's interesting to hear you guys' perspective. I wish I can kind of get more meat on the bone with this, because I can never I wouldn't put her out there like that. So I didn't perceive it like that. Just, it's different because I'm in the moment, But I think, to answer your question, I think she was going just as much agony as I felt like it's cold. I think I was shaking, but because I'm like, this is getting, I just didn't know what this was going to be, man. And this was, and mind you, I felt like 90% of it was kind of centered towards maybe like Millie. So there was a portion of where it almost felt like I told you not to belabor the point when the therapist said, like, what is the response to that? And I'm thinking to myself, like, what? Why? It just feels like am I getting attacked with this? Like, what did I do wrong? Let it be something real. Like, you're not gonna make me. Come on, man. I comforted her. What do you want me to do? And I'm gonna keep doing that.
Yeah.
But I think in hindsight, it was probably better suited Christal. We did it one-on-one. Now, I know that wasn't the objective of the show. Because I commend Millie for saying that, because I know that's got to be hard, and to go on this platform and speak on it. But I guess I look at it like I move differently too. As much as I envy her stance on that, not everybody might address it like that or as overt, and that doesn't make them any less of a hero, so to speak, or opening up to their truth, because it all has to come out at some point. So I did feel the support as we got back in the house. I think we had a nice exercise where we're like staring at each other in this big mirror, and we held on to each other. And I think she really commended me or thought more of me for sharing that.
Okay.
Because you hear something, oh, Greg just jokes, and like, no, there's a lot to me, and I'll open up, I'll be at the right time. Same token, like I said, if I do open up, we got to be receptive to that too, regardless. And so that's probably the best way to say it. But my heart just goes out to the women in that house, because. But yeah, it's hard to know what to do the right thing. You know what I'm saying?
I would think it would be it's even harder when, as a man, and I'm just going on a limb here, I'll definitely defer to my co-host, but I would assume that I'll learn so much from having these conversations, and I'm blessed to have a lot of amazing male friends and around me even before I got married that allow me to see the humanity of men, right? But I would assume that having to be responsible for comforting and protecting your woman that has gone through some trauma when you have not necessarily dealt with your own is extremely difficult. Because I think as a woman, I've actually, Mo and I have been friends for over 20 years. So I've shared some things with him and he shared some things with me, but I know that even as just my friend, when I went through a situation of where I was unsafe, and I shared that with him, and he responded like most male friends or will, like trying to protect you and trying to figure out how to fix it, right? But I feel empathy for men that are in that situation and have not been able to. I have a gaping wound. I see you bleeding, and I know I as my job is to stop your bleeding, but I'm also bleeding, and I just that has to be difficult, and so I just want to say that to both of you, that I think part of what we're doing here is we're trying to have this conversation so that it can help someone else. And I don't think that, Mo, there's a very specific incident I'm talking about that he'll remember, but I never was thinking in that moment, if you had felt that unsafe in your life before. I just was telling you, and I was hurt, and you came to my comfort. But as women, I don't think that we often realize that, the man, if you look at his back. I saw a picture one time of a man comforting a woman, a slave, right? And the woman had just been taken advantage of. But when the picture looked at his back was bloody and whipped as well. And he was trying to cover her. And it was a powerful visualization of what I feel like happens a lot of times in our community. And I feel like that's what happened there. So I just want to ask you, Mo, to do you understand what I mean? Like Greg is, even now, as you sit here talking to us, you're just showing so much empathy, and your focus is more on the women in the house, but at the point of listening to you, we have the same empathy towards you as well.
I appreciate that. That means a lot. It truly does, because you never want to say nobody cares. I don't want to take it that far, but
right.
might hear some of the blog. Like if you say it, some people might laugh or like it's different. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's why some of us suppress it. And thank you, Christal, for providing that strength and Moe, because sometimes I feel like maybe I can do more. I don't mind uplifting anybody, but at the same token, I'm not trying to just be some platform or put myself out there. But if anyone asked me low key or just came up and had a conversation, I would dispense this information if I knew it was coming from a genuine spot, you know. So it's just, I think, like I said, we always, as men, just feel like I've got to put that armor of shield on, but I've got chinks in this armor as well. And you're just kind of coached to know that, man, put a Band-Aid on it, Moe, and get your ass back out there, man.
We learned that, like, even in playing sports, you know, you're young, you're playing pee-wee football, and you know, your coach or somebody, get up, shake that off, you'll be all right, get back out there. So you take on that mentality growing up, you know what I mean? As men, you know, if you're here to protect her, you can't come off as weak, you know. And just, but at the same time, I just think that as males, at some point we're going to need a safe space. And where do we go? You know, to each other. You know, we don't really speak like that. You know, it can be tough at times. But if you do have that woman that can look at you and still see you as masculine when you're not at your most masculine, you know what I mean? And give you that type of reassurance, and more importantly, don't use it against you later. Because I think that's a lot of men's, and I'm starting to learn that more and more talking to other men. That's a lot of men's fear, is for it to be used against you later, you know. And it could be a week from now, it could be 5 years from now.
Absolutely.
So I just think that with just brothers speaking, I think that was a brave step, you know what I mean? On you know, for you to, you know, just kind of lightly share, and trust me, you helped someone. You had someone spoke up, you know what I'm saying? Because you spoke up. And like I said, don't ever, you know, you handled it right. And it was a great example. And I hope that you know, anybody feeling that way, because I think if we have these conversations more, people will be surprised.
Yeah, I you know, we've heard the statistics on child abuse and sexual abuse and different things. And if you know, I have shared that I've had so many men share that with me, right? Because I've tried to be a safe space for just friendship, men that I'm friends with. Like I said, I'm thankful for that. But I think as a culture, my son, who is much smarter than I am, would tell me, you know, Mom, your generation basically condoned and promoted toxic masculinity, and I never understood what that meant until having these conversations. And I think we have to change the definition of what masculine is. Right? And masculine cannot be, I hold you up and hold everything up at all costs. You know, I think you can be a provider and a protector, but I think you know, if a man is consistently pouring from his cup, but nothing is being poured into him, eventually he's going to break. And I'm not saying like being with a beautiful woman that you're having sex with, that's not being poured into. I mean, having a safe space, having some place that you can lay your head, and that you can let that armor, take the armor off. You shouldn't have to keep the armor on all the time. And so anyway, I don't want to go too deep with that, but I did want to say that to you, Greg, because we did see that. And I do want you to know there were a lot of women that were saying that. I'm happy to know that after that scene that you and Millie did connect, and she did offer you a safe space, there was a connection after that. That makes me happy to know that, because on the show we didn't see that. That's not the edit we saw. We just saw a lot of empathy going out and not much coming back towards you. And you know, if we want healthy relationships, it has to be give and take. I have to pour into you. You have to pour into me. And, you know, that's the only way that you're going to be able to have this amazing, strong protector and provider, is if you are giving into him as well. So
that part. And let me say this, because I know we just went off on this. I don't want to like just stay on this summer. No, we got to switch gears. But Greg, I don't know what you did in the boom boom room, but her attitude changed.
Yes.
Greg, you did something.
We did see that there was a shift.
It was a shift, Greg. There was a shift, a great shift. She came out to, hey, man, whatever you did work.
Let's get out of neutral, man. Let's go ahead and hit fifth gear there, Mo.
Yeah, yes.
Nah, she's a beautiful person. I get some of those things to wrap it up, Christal. And thank you guys so much for that, because it really warms my heart, and it's still difficult to speak on for me. But there were so many great conversations that Millicent and I had behind the doors, and all the couples can probably attest to that in their own kind of situation. But that softer side was always there, and I'm not saying give a gold star to her or whatever like this. She never called me out of my name, or we never got there, even if we had disagreements like anybody else. But quickly, you guys see when they cut to like a different scene and just shows for 0.2 seconds where they show like 4 sides of the screen, right? Like those moments are sometimes the best moments on every episode, where you're just shooting the shit, really have an intimate conversation or one-on-one building with your partner. Now I get, they're not gonna really show that, but you're in the room talking or just chatting, so then you kind of get that comfort. But yeah, that's and thank you guys for that, because that was a rough episode. I didn't know what I was kind of getting into on that, and I could have done without that day, but I'm glad that I could kind of put that past me. It's always going to stick with you, Christal and Mo, as you know.
Right.
And just to be completely honest again, I think if you had questions why maybe I had the predilection to kind of move around like I did with certain women or whatever, because you're kind of looking for that comfort that you guys alluded to and different things. It's not always just about just the one night stand or sex, but it's just knowing that.
Yo, can you say that again? Because that's real. You just said something right there.
Yeah.
Can you say that one more time?
Yeah. You're searching just for that comfort, that soul, that something to hold you as that person that's like, Greg, put your guard down. But at the same time, that's probably not always the best thing for you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I told y'all earlier, it's not like I'm being overtly messy, but you know what you can kind of get. Christal, you said earlier, this is LA. This is America's kind of playground. I could be that guy to put on these good ears and listen to your story, and then cool story, and then put that Casanova on you, and let's head to the room. And I've done that, fall victim to that, but I had to kind of come out of that funk, Mo, as you said, because I'm like, this ain't helping me no more. And you know what you're gonna get, man. I feel like it's like Majestic said in Get Rich or Die Trying, a lot of cold nights. Obviously he's referencing something else, but you don't come out fulfilled, man. And you probably stand more to lose than you have to gain. And so I think that's why it took me 3 years to kind of meet. And I really commend her for this aspect of, you kind of thought that it would be easier. I'm not calling Millicent easy at all, but Mo, as a guy, like, man, I'll crack this code. I've done it 1,000 times, So to make you kind of work for it, and that's not just the body or the cookie, so to speak. It's just like, man, she really means business. And Mo and I, guys, we don't want to admit it, Christal, but if you ever ask, we kind of like that. I'm not saying I'm enthralled just for the chase to try to get it, but it's like, man, she's got something to her. I don't know what it is sometimes if you just have, sex on the first night. I bet if you waited 3 nights, it's just different. I'm not saying there are plenty of people who've had one night stands that probably still together happily ever after. It just depends on that person, right? But it's like I was kind of hitting that kind of full steam ahead of like, man, nothing can slow me down. And the more you get, Mo, the better you kind of come at your craft. And it's like, man, like, because this ain't, time is going by. I'm not the same man I was at 21, and if I were, I would have wasted 10 years. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have epiphany, but you kind of wake up like, man, I don't want to do this anymore, man. It's not me.
It's growth, brother. It's growth.
Man, you said a bunch of good stuff. This is so good, Greg. I'm so thankful. You said a lot of good things. First of all, and I'm not gonna lie, I am just now understanding this as a woman, right? And this is after 2 marriages and children, that a lot of times that a womanizer, a man that is doing that from a place of hurt. Because we just look at it like he's being an asshole, right? He's hurting women on purpose, but hurt people. And so hearing a man take accountability for his own deficit and trying to fulfill that in women, Mo and I have talked about that. He's, that's one of the things that we've had long conversations about that. And even to the point where, men that have had a lot of women and know how to, like you said, say the right thing, get the right, crack the code, but eventually it does not leave them fulfilled. that takes a lot of maturity to even say that, and I commend that. And I think as women, we have to be open to hearing that, because it doesn't sound, it's easier to just look at men as the enemy and not as people, right? And people act out differently, but a lot of times it comes from the same core, this is, which is pain, right? And then also just acknowledging that when you allow a woman, when one woman allows a man to see her for more than a sexual object, that is really what he wants, but he's gonna push and see if you can, and when you don't, and you allow him, you basically make him rise to your standards, there is value in that process, right? And Mo has, told me that a lot, that we actually want that, but I'm going to, as a woman, it's unfair, because it's like, well, if that's what you want, why are you pushing me anyway? Right. But it's a weird dance that you have to mature and understand. But I just thank you for being honest about it. You know what I mean? And I think that's worth that conversation is worth a lot.
And it's not, one-sided, as y'all know. Just to quickly get this out there, Mo can attest to this. Like, I'm not backing these ladies, Christal, into the corner. Sometimes I've been that guy where, if I told you how many times they broke up or their things are going bad, and I played that role of being the shoulder they can cry on. So it's like, yeah, I'll be the villain of just saying, yeah, I put the old notch on the belt. Like, no, like,
right.
Instagram, this sounds grimy, Mo. Like, man, you happy now, but did she just know that? I'm sorry, this is where you're gonna get messy. This is where you get rated R, Greg. Like, baby girl, I was just in your job not 2 nights ago, and you booed up talking about life is good. Yeah, it was like so. And I'll never get in the middle of that, but I'll be laughing like, man. So you try to make me feel bad, or the homegirl. So Greg, he's just this, and like, no. What you need to be doing is asking your girl what really happened. You know what I'm saying? And I take no pride in really saying that, but I just kind of laugh with like. But at the same token, Christal, as a grown man, I need to understand and have more discernment. Like,
yeah,
is it worth it? You know what I'm saying? So.
You are talking to a kindred spirit. Mo has been on the other side of many of those situations, and we have.
He got the buffs on. I know he knows what's up, man. He ain't playing no games out here.
All right, I want to take a little bit of a pivot, because we're gonna just keep this honest, Greg. I'll say we have been irritated by one of the other couples in the house.
Yes,
that was Jody and Aaron.
Oh, young bull, man.
No, Greg. We were irritated because we feel as though that Jody, and I did understand a little bit more about her when she did acknowledge that she had gone through some things, right? But we've all been hurt. That never excuses you from you are responsible for your own healing, right? And you're responsible for how you treat other people, even if there may be a reason. But the hypocrisy of, I am so upset and so disgusted that Aaron kissed me on the forehead, but I am not, I have no problem with boundaries when I'm tonguing down Sandia, which Chris put her in a situation, which I think was very disgusting of him. But we were super irritated with that couple. So I just want to ask you, from an outsider looking, your unbiased and just honest opinion, did you all have the same irritation that we did with them being in the house and seeing the fact that there was never a connection? Jody seemed extremely irritated and disgusted with Aaron. He seemed to continue to just want to hang in there for the show. Even the older Aaron H basically was like, she don't want you. She's playing with you. He didn't. And I'm not agreeing with Aaron H mostly on most things, but in that situation, I do think he was being honest. And it was just very difficult to watch. And the entire audience and the viewership of the show was over it.
Y'all just lost it, huh? That was a lot, Christal. Young Bull, that's my guy. Aaron's a good guy. I think the most, what I got just tired of, to be honest, and correct me if I'm wrong, y'all, let me know if you thought this. What I didn't like from just seeing, and mind you, I saw this every day, right? But you kind of tune it out. If you don't like somebody, that's not a crime, of course, as you know, because that's part of the process to see if you get on, right? You know what I'm saying? Right. I get that. But I'm like, look, like, y'all just said y'all got 20 years riding it plus, right? You're going to be friends, and it's bigger than that. Does it have to come off like my man is repulsive to you? Because it almost just looks like there's ways where I may not be attracted to that person. It's probably not even that. There was probably attraction, of course, but he just didn't do it for her. But you don't have to be so mean about everything. So those would be kind of the little dialogue I would throw to him when he come in and ask. We just talk as men, just shoot the shit. Like, I don't really like, because there's ways of, like, Millie and I, we're not perfect, right? To them, we probably look like some gods, but I'm just saying, like, you see, even if she didn't like the mishap I had, did it come off as I'm jumping all over the place, right? That damn, I'll call myself out. I like to talk shit. That hot tub scene, Christal, wasn't my best act. The finest kind of Greg act, but I still got a kiss. You know what I'm saying? Even if it looked like I kind of misread it, and maybe, brother, you should have went in for one instead of bobbing for apples or whatever you was doing in there. That didn't look right. I still got that because there's attraction, and I don't want to say respect because I don't want to call that out and say Jody didn't respect her. I wouldn't know, but she liked me. That's the word I'm searching for.
Right.
Liked me. And we're getting there. So it's like, don't say one thing to your point, Christal. It's like, now we got some scale, right? If you said that and I get your truth, don't touch me. I just don't like to be touched. We all know something like that. But now we kind of moving the goalpost back a little bit because I just saw you be touched by somebody over there. I just saw my man Greg's birthday. You got your boy speaking in third party. I wanted to put my mind on. That's why I was like, hey, get on your girl, do that dance. It's my birthday. Let me see if I can put him on. But if you jump to a kiss with somebody else, like, man, that fervor, that zeal, that passion, that vigor that you had for that, I guess I didn't see that in the photo shoot.
No.
And who's to say who's right or wrong? So that's the thing, to answer your question, Chris. I don't know if it had to be like that. You could have been a little nicer to him. I probably could have just summed it up with that. And I commend him for not giving up Moe. Like, of course, you got to know when to stop. But he's a younger guy. He's still a man. But he didn't do anything wrong. So I don't like I like the fact how he just kept trying. And can I say this, y'all? This would be hot off the press. I'll say this now that it's over, and I haven't even seen the last episode, right? But if that one of them episodes, you remember when Big Aaron was talking about moving them beds? This is an exclusive, right? They kind of cut off one scene because, like, look, shout out to Toronto, she was lovely, but if we knew if Toronto and the Mad Hatter came up in that room, he about to cut your queens or somebody about to pack because it's not looking good. You walking the plank. So that's why we said, let's make a play and see if you can kind of get on the same accord as your girl to get in there. I'm not saying Aaron, he still would have kept trying because I like the fight and I admire that in him. But, now we got to turn up a little bit more, Moe, because if it's not looking good, you guys are going to be dismissed.
Gotcha.
You got to make a play or make it look like, like I'm saying, make it look like you're not stalling. So I think that's probably why he never did bow out. Every man knows I don't want to say his limitations to cap him, but everyone knows his limit, right? And I think that's why he kept going for her, even though he knew that he's not a fool. You know what I'm saying? We had conversations, but he's just a good guy, man. And I just wish she was maybe a little nicer to him. But in Jody's defense, she's a Scorpio as well. She's a very nice lady. There were conversations, and I wasn't privy to all of them, but there were plenty of moments where they would get on and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So that may have not been depicted, and that's kind of camera work and stuff. It sells better if you have contention. But I do.
Do you think that
they would probably just been truthful, right? Sorry, Chris.
No. Do you think that, just in plain English, do you think that the reason that they were there was just they wanted to stay to the end of the show? Because I want to read this comment because we all felt empathy for Aaron, and we all felt, I will say it, you don't have to say it, I feel like she was disrespectful to him. I feel like it was beyond she acted disgusted by him. Like, how she treated him on the first date with the charcuterie, like, Moe didn't know what the charcuterie board was.
That happens, Chris. If you thought I was fine, right, and I couldn't open, you like, damn, you couldn't open that wine. But if you liked me, you're gonna teach me, and that would be much to do about nothing, right?
Thank you.
You've all like, come on. You think, Michael B. Jordan, Will Smith, they come in there. Oh, he didn't open it. It's all like, come on.
But not even that. I would say, like, I have gone on dates, like first dates with guys that like, if you meet someone online that you're not attracted to, it tells me you don't have to be hateful to people, right? And I feel like that tells me more about your character than the other person, because all of us have been around someone that we weren't necessarily attracted to. I will say this. Now, I'm not condoning what happened that night, but even Dom, when he first saw Alexis and he was like, she doesn't really look like she did online, he wasn't mean to her, right?
I'm willing to work it, make it work.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, because at the point, or just go home. Just go home. If the person is that disgusting to you, then go home. But she stayed, and that's where I think the issue was. Clay B says, Aaron is 50% responsible for how he was treated on the show. He should have stood up for himself and found a voice or a backbone. I think that I've always taught my kids that no one can do to you what you don't allow. So at the point that he pulls out the pouch to give her a gift, come on, man. The photo shoot, come on, man. No. And so that's what leads me to think that they just both wanted to make it to the very end of the show.
I wish I had that answer. And, I'm not saying you're wrong at all, Christal. I think he kept trying, and whoever the kind person that comment left that's a kind of a good response, because I tried to serve it up for my man on a tee in that room when I was talking to Chris, and I had my rebuttal talk, and then I think it was Young Bull, Aaron, and Brandon. We can't act like this because then women are gonna know they have the upper hand. You see them, you're right. No, you two brothers need to be not shaking your head yes to that, because now you're just trained. I think I said it, and when them confessionals like, yeah, Aaron is a great guy, but now it's looking like, yes, whatever you like, whatever she like you just on the bobblehead, yes. And I know you don't agree with that shit, man. And he's a very articulate young brother too. So I like, but you see, now you got some competition. I think, not to put males in it, right, Mo, but we had this rhetoric, Aaron and I, Christal. You see what other couples are kind of doing, and now we're starting to lap them. Now, I'm not saying that we're about to reach the pot of gold, because I don't know if anybody would be like, all these couples there, they really making it to the summit. Like, we're all probably stuck in mud to a certain degree, but
I'm gonna keep it real with
you. That, and you're falling behind the race, and Aaron didn't want to give that up, and I think he genuinely liked it.
They weren't even in the race.
No,
they weren't. For my pick, I'm just gonna be real with you. My pick was Josh and Shay first, then you and Millie.
Right.
And at the end of this episode, you didn't see it, but I was a little shocked. But I had Josh and Shay first. You were second.
I think the only reason it wasn't you and Millie was because of that situation with the
right.
With what now?
With the therapy situation. Like the audience really did not.
That's what turned that, right?
Yeah, that turned it, because I was like, I like them. They cool. And then of course, even her, now also her act, the way she was acting towards Chris, because we talked about, when you see your partner acting a certain way, eventually that can come around to you. So if you slip out of a woman's mouth, the bitch word, that could slip towards you. So I think that was part of the conversation of why you guys weren't the fan favorite 100%. Because a lot of people felt like, wow, you got a slick mouth and a disrespectful mouth, and that could come back around to your relationship. And usually does, right? Like usually how you show up is how you show up until you get healing for it. But I do think we were surprised that Shay and Josh weren't together, just because they were booed up the whole time. But I always felt like there was something more. Anybody that has known about each other for 12 years and not got together, they don't really want that. Something ain't really right. It don't make no sense. Now, either he was in jail or something. It just don't make any sense that 12 years would pass and they would not have connected. So either we got lied to by production or some BS. Something in the milk ain't clean.
Y'all realize that my man was liberated in 12 Years a Slave faster than my two friends bet on that show, right? That's a long time riding, and that's
it just don't make sense, Greg. It don't make sense.
The math ain't mathing, is what you're saying, huh?
The math was not mathing.
She was saying that the whole time, and she right.
Can I say this though? And those are my two best friends apart from Millie, like on the show. And but you kind of look at this, and maybe I see it from a different lens because I was part of it, right? But some of the gems, I think it was the last episode of Christal Moe when Shay's sister came on. Mm-hmm. Did y'all catch a little negative? Like, man, he's a little different than the other guys you're dating. And I'm like, y'all catch that wherever that
I didn't catch that.
She didn't even know. She didn't know about him.
No, I remember that part.
Yeah.
So to think that you be crocheting for them 12 years and not living your life, or just living, so I think they're both doing that. And I think, bless Josh's heart, I think the children, of course, kind of put things in, and and That's probably the best way to say it. But I think I was just happy for Aaron towards the end, man, because we had them conversations, and I don't know. I didn't know Jody quite well like that. We would talk. I did think she liked him, but I'm not going to lie and act like I think Aaron liked Jody a little more. So that's why he kept going for that, and who am I to tell him not to?
Yeah.
But it's good that he realized that, I guess, in the end, so to speak. But that's probably the best way, because he would keep trying. And you got to look at it. He's kind of getting yanked from every which way. His dad was a great guy. I think we can all agree, like, don't bring Papa Aaron on that show again. You ain't secure with your girl. I don't know if y'all bring him around, because
exactly.
The dad almost took his girl. She was having a good time. That's what I'm saying. Her boundaries of touch only came out
for him.
Mo, if that happened to you, brother, and I know we love Paz, like man, I can't. I think I'd have to get out the race. Like, shit, man. Big Greg done got on it, Greg Senior. Like, it's over, man. So those are the things that I probably wish took a different turn, because you're saying one thing, the actions aren't maybe.
What about Aaron H and Diamond? Everybody seemed annoyed and over them at the end. By the time they announced their engagement, no one seemed to really care.
Talk to me. See, yeah, I forget how it went. I think my man, and I used to live in Detroit for a little bit, Mo. So I think old school Aaron is from there. So we talked. I liked Aaron. Like I said, I had no qualms with anybody. It didn't mean he didn't kind of irritate me here and there. But I think he asked if I wanted to go see the ring and kind of look. I was like, I'll let you do your thing on that, big dog. I just don't want, I don't want to be in the midst of that. But you'd already they were already kind of being messy. And I feel like one thing I might commend Aaron a little more, old Aaron, is just like, I felt like he was more honest about some of his stuff, because like I have nothing against Diamond at all. That's not me trying to maintain face. I think she was a nice lady. We didn't talk that much. There was actually one portion where they barricaded themselves in that intimacy suite for like 4 or 5 days.
Oh,
after one of those, like, when we did that group session, I think they put their tail between their legs and stayed in there for like 4 or 5 days, something like that.
That man was his fucking toes for 4 and 5 days. Man,
we probably loved it because we didn't have to hear any nonsense. But I digress. It was something like that, and it's like she came in that house. You remember, if you recall and harken back to day one, Christal as a woman, man, I can't do women because they catty, and like anytime you kind of hear that, like
you already know.
Then kind of hide in your hands, because that's the thing I just didn't like. At least own it. I don't want to call them messy or whatever, but it's like, just say what it is. Like, even on the last episode, right? What's that, 9? The therapy session that was shown, and I'm sure there's more to that, right? But the therapy session was them talking about other people. Did anybody else's therapy session start them talking about what Mo and Chris should be doing in their relationship, or this third? We don't get involved in everybody's relationship. We just gonna stop asking our answer and our opinion. My G, didn't nobody ask for your shit? I'll tell you this now. Didn't nobody ask for that bullshit? I'm not saying you was right or wrong, but you wording it like, hey, Aaron, that old school, like, OG, hey, like, what's up with Christal, man? She ain't really feeling me. Didn't nobody come to you asking you a goddamn thing, bro?
I think because he was an older guy, he felt like he had to give jewels to the younger fellas.
You in the same boat? That's what I'm saying, Mo. You right because I'm looking at that. We just heard about the proposal. Let's address that. I bet you the audience is probably like, man, the show has potential, and I very much loved it. But let's get into the reason why you got on that other knee. Like, let's talk about that. You know what I'm saying? Because then you end up in everyone else's business. But when Toronto asks you, I don't want to talk about it. Like, well, you talk about something because you're here. So I think less would have been more in his case, right? It's like I don't know. Like, you kind of look at it, Mo. Like, thanks for bigging me up. Like, I don't feel like I had to say a whole lot to kind of command the respect or get the respect from the guys. I'm not saying anyone didn't respect Aaron, but like, I don't need to be that boisterous and keep walking around telling people what to do. And the thing that kind of irked me, not to be messy, but I'd be remiss if I didn't bring this up, because I've been told he kind of been in the comments, and I've seen a couple. I'm not privy on all of them, of course, but maybe what he thinks that our relationship or whatever, like he had the answer. Production, they'll have somebody in there, of course, Mo and Christal, that kind of like, so quickly, when I went in that jacuzzi in the second episode or whatever, and Aaron was in there, I was already about to go in there with my shorty, right? But we already see him, and one of the guys like, hey, Greg, like, what's Aaron's in there? Go see what's up. So I'm gonna be organic with it and just, hey, climb your ass up out of here, my man. I'm about to get in there with Shorty. And then when he stayed, which is well and good, I'm just like, oh, where's your girl? But I'll leave it like that. And that's that.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to say yes or no and everything. So I think that now they're just taking a spinning like production was this and that. Please don't fall for that at all. They might say something, you know what I'm saying, but you didn't have to take it that far or wherever any incident. And
what did you think about? I mean, I understand. I'm originally from Toledo, which is 15.
Oh man, the Mud Hens. I've been up there.
Yeah, right next to Detroit. But I just, we were a little thrown off by the jail nail. I just wonder, and I know that's a very trendy thing for a lot of younger men, but I'm just not used to men in their 50s with a full gel nail set that matches their hats.
Oh, I think one was like a different color too. If my memory...
Yes, Greg. It was the middle finger was an accent nail, is what it's called.
That's what it's called. Okay.
Yeah.
Shout out to Big Aaron. Whatever it was, Christal. I don't want to say it worked for him. Who am I to say that? He just owned it. I'll give him that. And to answer, I didn't see that in the D, the 313 shout.
I don't know that.
I'm not saying, but I think he did. He'd always say that's just what he did. So I like the fact that he stood on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wish I had more for you on that. I don't really know.
I just want it for reference because you've been to Detroit.
Yeah, I did see that. I'm gonna be honest with you right now. But maybe that's what set him apart. And
yeah. Maybe, and I think he seems like a very confident fella. Very confident fella.
He's got the gift of gab, and you can see that. And he's a good guy. He really is. And you got to be, and you can see the kind of slither around some of these situations, and whatever he's got going on in his life and everything. But then that might catch up to him later. Maybe it has now, and I'm not wishing for that or his demise, whatsoever. But I just you didn't ask this. There's certain things that, y'all talking about your relationship so good and grandiose. But if we're basing our relationship, Christal, on the fact that you had to be the knight in shining armor to save the day, to get your girl all swoon, oh, yippee, Hercules. How about you don't fuck up the first place, is what I'm saying. That's why I get out just stop. Y'all being messy, and then you're trying to act like we're doing something. Because
it was like the older people in the house were the instigators, which was unfortunate because we always say that age is not indicative of maturity. But it was interesting to see that and I couldn't even hate on seeing the eye rolls like, oh my gosh, even when the proposal happened tonight and Diamond said, well, tried to give some relationship advice. And Shay was just like, girl, ain't nobody asked. Like, she and her discussion, like, we didn't ask for that. Like, we don't need it to be so dramatic. It's like they were thinking, and I know it can be uncomfortable being with the age gap being what it is. But it felt like they wanted to be something and you guys could kind of see through the cracks. So tonight, I wasn't 100% surprised that their relationship wasn't doing well. The only reason I was a little surprised is because Aaron has been, moving about. And it would seem like they were still together because of the conversation that's been happening during the show. But seeing that they weren't in a happy place, maybe everybody could just focus on their own relationship. That probably would have been the best thing to do.
I didn't know that. And I'm not, man, I guess I hate to hear that. I didn't know that. It doesn't surprise me, but I didn't know that.
That's because y'all ain't give them that furniture. That's why.
Man, but Aaron, he's and Diamond, she's a nice lady too, from what the little things I saw. But Aaron, he's one of them guys. He got 9 lives, Christal, and you know what I'm saying.
I believe it. But Diamond started all the drama in the house, and she also put the battery in his back. So,
Yeah, I will say this, and this is an exclusive. Y'all didn't ask this as well. I'll give you another gem, and just because I got reverence for my girl Mills. Apparently, like months ago, when the first episode was about to drop, right?
Mm-hmm.
Millicent had a watch party. That people be doing that, and just go have some fun. And I think that they pulled up. I wasn't there, but they pulled up, and I think I understand what I got from it because people tell me that maybe they were a little perturbed or mad that she didn't recognize them or say they're in the show or what have you. And okay, I might get that. And two, it's like it's her event, and more importantly, I should start with one. If that's your girl and your friend, and you came from Timbuktu to get there. Is that really what's on your mind? I think they ended up sitting by her sister, who's a very nice lady that you saw me meet here, and they're talking and saying the wrong thing. You know, they didn't even know that was her sister right then and there. So it's just like, what do you get from doing that? That's what I don't understand. You came in, that wouldn't even cross my mind, especially if that's supposed to be your friend. So it just seems like the messiness don't really stop.
The messiness, we're not surprised. We are not surprised. We do have to ask you, Greg, because but first of all, Millie looked absolutely. First of all, she's a beautiful girl. She reminds me of my stepdaughter, but she looked gorgeous. In the when you guys talked on video camera afterwards, beautiful, so pretty. But what in the hell happened, Greg, after you guys left the show that you guys had a fight and then had taken a break? What? Because we were rooting for you after the Boom Boom Room. Everything seemed amazing. She was smiling because she's a pretty girl, but we didn't really see a lot of she seemed very guarded. After the Boom Boom Room, the guard was down, everything was good. And then we were surprised to hear that there had been some disconnect, afterwards. So can you share with us what happened after production stopped?
Absolutely. And I guess, Moe, man, my birthday may have saved me in that damn house, because had I not had that birthday, we may have never got to that room. And then, so shout out to that. But Christal, I'm trying to think. You mind me asking, was that after the show? Because like I said, I haven't seen any of that. Are you talking about something that happened on the show, or like after we left hand?
No, so after the show, when Taronda did the video calls,
okay.
Millie says, "Well, we had an argument, and we haven't been taught. We took a break." And then she called you, and then you were like, you gave her a compliment. You guys were talking, but it seemed like you guys weren't necessarily booed up at the moment of the video call.
Okay, absolutely. Now I'm trying to think, and I'm not holding out on you just because I haven't seen that. Well, I would say the best way with us right now are silent friends, to be honest with you. And we're probably so similar. It's like vanity, like Prince said. I see a lot of myself in her. And sometimes that's maybe why the needle doesn't get there, because we're kind of at an impasse. You know what I'm saying? And I find myself maybe, I don't want to say set my ego aside to try to propel us forward. I don't mind doing that. We left hand in hand, and we did our thing. Like, that was my girlfriend and boyfriend. We did have a disagreement. We did have a fight. I can't pinpoint exactly when. And I think that's when we just kind of decided to just kind of take our time, so to speak, and kind of see where things go. And I think when you say that, knowing me and then knowing her, we're both of the same ilk, as I mentioned, where it's like, hey, we should hang out. We should definitely, you see that person, let's hang out. Yeah, get my number. I think we all know that was going to be the last of it for right then and there. Kind of be out of sight, out of mind. And and I think that's what it was. And like I said, now that distance thing is kind of like, she's doing her thing. I'm happy. I'm doing mine. And that's probably just the best way to say it. We had that argument, and I think I just politely said, like, let's reassess and what are we doing, so to speak. I wish I can get more context and kind of see how that was going, but I do think, man, I feel like that they did that in March or something, if I can think. So I hadn't seen her in a couple months at the very least. And we may have just been texting, but it wasn't seeing each other all the time. The FaceTimes had stopped. We had just kind of broken up at that juncture, and then.
Can you share with us what that fight was about that caused?
What Drake say, man, why you all argue with me at Cheesecake or something? We had a damn argument. We wasn't at Cheesecake. I won't say the restaurant. It was a nice restaurant. And we was having a great day, a great evening. And I think it just kind of changed of like expectations. We weren't on the same accord about expectations, and not to ever throw her under the bus, Christal. I think there's something that what she had asked or wanted from me at that particular time, I just didn't think was the appropriate time for bringing that up, because I thought we just had a lovely evening, date night. Why? And this is what you're kind of bringing up, So I'm not saying I'm not culpable, and
because you guys have spent holidays together and everything, right?
Yeah.
Man, so that was I can talk on that when everything was still great, and we had left that show. So mind you, y'all, I think we filmed literally for about 4 weeks, very close to a month. I'll never forget, rest in peace to Takeoff, because that was Halloween, is when we set out. We were quarantined hotel Halloween. That was the first day they picked us up.
Wow.
And so bless her heart, I'm talking Millicent. I spent Thanksgiving with her friends and everything. You know, that's big. So those are things, Christal, that you may have asked, like, this is Millie, this is the real her. If people felt like they didn't see that with the guard down, whatever that's worth, this is the real stuff. We're real life. We go there and it was just perfect. And then I think she went to Texas with her family for Christmas, but we're still very much involved. I got her a flight out there. And then New Year's is amazing. And then some point just after that, it took that turn. And I don't know if we had, I don't want to say we didn't have the willpower. It's just, this is the best way to say it, Chris. I know you're like, this dude is just pattern around it. Sometimes I feel like not everything kind of takes time, right? When I'm saying this, I'm not trying to say this as some fuckboy response of like, give me 3 hours, give me this. I'm just like, if everything were perfect, you get nothing. You know, smooth seas never made skilled sailors, so to speak. Working at it, you see that. And I've already shown you this, and we've already been at this for a few more months, but just give your boy some time. I think Millicent is just on a more of an accelerated clock, you know. And that is possibly it brings out insecurities or certain demands, this, that, or the third. And mine, like I said, that doesn't mean I was walking life's perfect. I won't run a game, nothing like that. It's just maybe I could have just been more cognizant to her needs of. It'd been about 3 years for me, Mo, and this is not an excuse. I'm a grown ass man out here. I hadn't been in a relationship probably like 3 years, maybe 4.
Okay.
She had just got out of one. Like I said, shout out to that. She didn't really have the healing time, I think, after. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you need that. We need that.
No, all time. Every time. Every time you need that. Let me ask you this, Greg, because one of the things that we saw in this show, and we talked about on this show, is women that have very like have built a defense, like a wall around themselves, right? I just want to ask you, and I'll ask Mo first and let you think about the answer. So we saw with Millie, like you said, I try to comfort you, and sometimes you want my comfort. Sometimes it's like, no, I'm sorry, I don't need you. And she actually said there was a scene where she was just like, I don't need that. Like you were trying to, when she didn't. I don't need you to say. It's just like, I don't want that comfort. I don't need it. I'm good on my own. At what point, when you are encountering that as a man, and there's this, with Sienna, we saw that very, very, very defensive. I don't need anybody. I've been by myself. I'm strong. I don't need it. How difficult is that as a man to continue to push through when you keep running, you keep hitting your head against that wall? I'll start with Mo.
It's tough because, like, we always have the conversations. Most men are fixers. So it's just like, what do I do with that? Like, you're in front of me, you could be possibly crying. And at that point, you're in the weird space. I'm in the weird space on what to do.
Okay.
Like I said, we're fixers. So I don't, if it's not framed before you say it, then I'm gonna go in there and try to fix it. And at that time, that might not be what you want. But I don't know what to do. But I don't want to see you continue to be like this. You know what I mean? So at that time, we're just trying to paddle and stay afloat and try to be there for you. But after a while, it's just like, you really got to throw your hands up, and they have to say what it is they need for you to do. But you're helpless.
Does it get exhausting? Is it exhausting?
No, it really is. And you don't want to share that with them because now it's going to turn worse, so you don't care, or you do. But what do I need to do? How can I fix this? I'm always stuck in that, and I'm hearing from women that's not always what it is. I just need you to listen. And I said to someone one time, well, can you frame that? You always want it your way. And I'm like, I don't want it my way, but if you're telling me, you need to know how I receive information, because I'm gonna go right to rescue mode, and that might not be what you need at the time. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yes, exhausting, Christal. Yes, and you don't want to say it though.
Yeah. Greg, what about you? Because I just feel like Millie had a lot. There was a lot for you to a lot of walls for you to try to knock down, and you seemed very up for the challenge. But I wonder if it ever was a bit exhausting, or you ever felt like, when am I gonna, is this a never ending? Am I set up to fail with this situation?
That's a great question, because in the back of my mind, I'm wondering when I'm going to reap those rewards, so to speak, or get those returns. But I don't want to contradict myself, because I said a few minutes ago, everything's not just served up as this is the straight line to success, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's where we kind of went awry. I can't really speak for her, and obviously I'm trying to find the right words, because I would never want to talk down and make her, I still care for her. But she was used to dating, I think, men a little older and everything. There's nothing wrong with that. Latter 30s or whatever. Probably a little more established, and there's nothing wrong with that. Mm-hmm. I've never said here, I'm not broke or poor or anything by any means. College educated. I got my spot. I'm out here doing my thing. I had a job. A good job. But things take time. They do take time. And like I told you, I wasn't just giving you some kind of 5-year theory of what's going on. But every man kind of reaches his boiling point, so to speak, where it's just like, it's got to make sense. And I think we both could agree on that. I'm talking Millie and myself, where I don't even want to bring up looks or whatever. It's just like, I need some peace of mind, Christal. I do. And it's not to say I can't get it. When things were up, we were great. We really were. But sometimes I'm big on what seems to just be proper etiquette and refinement and couth. And it just seemed like that particular argument, I just wasn't. And I told her I wasn't down with that, because that just didn't make sense. Like, where is this coming from right here and now? Mm-hmm. And, you know what it was? I'll tell you. I'll stop this bullshit, Greg. I'll tell you what it was. And y'all might laugh, and I couldn't care less. It was about getting her nails done. And that's not to vilify my girl.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, so, okay, mind you, Mo, I'd already done that. And Christal, just because I never said no, but just if we just had this perfect night, dinner, this, that, and third, and everything like that, why are you bringing this up to me right now at midnight when I'm like, I just don't get, like, what? That's what we're talking about right now? And then you're kind of talking about, like I said, no, like, maybe I'd like it to be my idea. We can go do it tomorrow. It's just like, I wasn't fond of that. So maybe I didn't handle it well. And going back on it, I wish I did probably handle that situation better. But it's just, I feel like I was big on the respect portion of, like.
What do you think? Because you said you wish you looking back, maybe. What do you think? What would you have done differently if you had the opportunity?
I would have diffused it, Christal, and I don't want to say in an act of weakness on my spot. I didn't go 0 to 100. I'm boisterous without yelling and stuff, but we got an argument. Maybe I could have kind of killed it with more kindness, like what you've seen on the show and everything. Like, I ain't talking about this shit. I'm going to sleep, and cooler heads would have prevailed in the morning. You know what I'm saying? On some real stuff. I'm not saying we're shit-faced drunk or anything like that, but it's just like, I didn't feel like maybe I didn't have to go tick for tack. And it's not like we was calling each other out of our name. We both have that respect for each other, but I'm just like, we was at Benny Honda's. That's where we was at. You get a laugh. I ain't never been there, and whatever that, for what that's worth, just had a good time, drinking lemon drops, chilling.
You ain't let them
playoffs are on. Huh?
You ain't let them throw no meat at you, did you?
No, man. But if I had that damn samurai knife, I would have ended this shit right then and there. Like, no, all jokes aside. So it was just timing, and timing is a little bit everything, you know. It could have been stuff that boiled up, Christal, that for both of us, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that I would have taken the lead as a man to just kind of diffuse that. Yeah. And on bless her heart, she was at the crib, and she was going to spend the night. I'd actually got her that mad where she left. This is like the movie. I'll put, I'll call myself out. Like, man, go get your girl and bring her back in here, and like, don't have her driving out there in the rain. You know what I'm saying? Like, because anything could happen. You're hot. It's raining.
But I'm assuming, just from someone who's been in that. I haven't had an argument over that, but I am assuming it was built up from a lot of things, and because that is a very trivial thing. So it seems like there probably was a lot that had built up, and maybe you were just exhausted.
It usually is, right, Christal, which is a funny thing, and I wish I can kind of pinpoint that, and I'm sure she can have hers as well. You know, it's just it's much to do about nothing, right? And it's like that's where grown-ups should come in, and I wish I handled that better, you know. So like I said, that's never to call her out, like as a guy or whatever. I could have done better on that.
Yeah,
and that's one of those.
That's also not. And Mo, you can correct me if you think I'm wrong, but if that was like your person and you were ready and that was your person, like that argument would not have caused that type of distance. That is probably like, you know, at the back of your mind, maybe a part of you and maybe a part of her realizes, you know what, this is not necessarily what my priority needs to be at this moment. And it's okay. But because I think, like, you know, there's this meme and we talk about this a lot, like when it's the right person, it's the right woman, and she makes you feel that kind of way, it's nothing that can keep you from being together. So if something that petty was the last time, then it's probably just like, you know what, we like each other, we're attracted to each other, we have fun, but at this moment, this is not the priority that I need to be extending this type of energy into. Mo?
Straw that broke the camel's back. It's normally not that. It's obviously it's pent up, whatever it is. Distance, not enough of this, not enough of that. And it'd be the pettiest little, you know. Now the price of nails they go up after the pandemic. I done paid for a couple myself and I know.
Well, it's certainly after a Benihana's dinner. And certainly after a Benihana's dinner, probably looking at my total for the night.
Yeah, she probably tried to get you to let the man throw meat in your mouth. Don't ever do that. Don't ever do that. But yeah, but I get it though, man. I mean, obviously it couldn't have been, that wasn't the real reason. That was just the, you know, you don't come
off. Breaking point. It was a tipping point.
There you go. There you go. Great.
She just started, she's a very smart lady. She just started, like, you know, esthetician and stuff, doing things of that nature. So she just started working at like the beauty shop and everything like that. So she was getting on that, and it's just a culmination of things, I guess, starting the new life of tipping point, you know. So like
you just got some growth, and there may be somebody else, but I do love the fact that you are very determined through this entire interview to hold her in the highest esteem and the highest regard. That is noted. That is definitely noted. And I think, and I appreciate that as a woman, because there's nothing more disgusting than a man that dogs a woman out, you know, after he spent time with her, and vice versa. I think it's disgusting when a woman does that as well. So if you share some good times, you care about each other, there's no need to dog each other out. But it's clear that it just is not the time to make that particular relationship a priority at this moment. And we wish you much success, Greg. I think you are held yourself as a man with class, and which is difficult to do on reality TV.
Definitely.
And I appreciate the fact that you carried yourself well. I'm sure your family is proud of the example that you set. And you know, they'll how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
33. I'm 33 now. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah, you got, there's no rush. There's no rush. You got lots of time. This is the normal progression. And you are actually a lot more mature than some of the other people we saw on the show that are older. So, you know, you're right where you're supposed to be. And we appreciate, I can say as a woman, I appreciate the example that you set and have continued to set tonight. That means a lot.
You did. You held it down, man.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you guys for having me, man. And Christal, laugh, get off, man. That broke ass nigga couldn't pay for them nails. Boy.
Hey. Don't let that
combination things. I'm just stopping, you know, like I said, because I'm like, man, but she's, you know, I always have, it's not delusions of grandeur. You ever just feel like we'll meet in the middle at some point and everything like that? Because I know if or when we see each other again, it's nothing but a warm embrace. Yeah. And I feel like at my best me, I'll say that we would be together, if that makes sense. And I'd probably say the best Millicent Reed, you know what I'm saying? So it just, it just has to align, but at the same time we have, common sense to know we're like, let's not fit a square in a round peg or something like that, you know. Like,
and it both have healing to do. I hope both of you will. My heart goes out to her and you both, you know, because I think your adult years are spent trying to heal the inner child in us, you know, and all of us, you know, have to go through that. No matter what you've been through, no matter what your situation, your adult years, specifically those 30s and those 30s are the time for you to heal that child, reassure that child that you're okay, and figure out who you are as an adult, and lock in with that. And so it's important to have an understanding of who you are and what you want in life and what makes you happy and what makes you tick prior to joining yourself and being responsible for taking care of someone else. And so I think you're right where you're supposed to be, and even, you know, did a great job. And we look forward to, hopefully we'll keep in touch, and you know, we'll be able to hear back from you when you're at a different place in life and you have more to share. We would love to have you come back.
I appreciate it. Absolutely. Where you, Mo, where are you stationed? You mind me asking where you reside, man?
No, we're both here in Atlanta.
Oh, both of y'all in Atlanta?
Yeah.
Okay, so man, I got to get out there with you. Yeah, so say what's up to Aaron out there for me.
Yeah, if you ever come, you know, definitely hit us up, and we would love to have you come in. I have a studio here. We do, you know, interviews. In times past, we've done sit down interviews. We would love to, you know, have a conversation with you here if you ever come to the city. So definitely do that.
I appreciate it. Take me back to my journalism days at Arizona State, man. So
that's what's up.
Thank y'all so much. Add y'all on the gram if that's not too much, man. Good people.
Please. Please, Scorpio Moe. And if you're ever in Atlanta, trust me, hit us up. We do a speed dating event every second Saturday of the month, and we would love to have you as a special guest. So if you're ever in Atlanta, definitely, you know, you can hit either of us. We would love to host you, you know, at our event. We do every second Saturday at ATL, speed dating. We would love to have you talk about your experience. And last question I have for you, Greg, is what did you learn about yourself throughout this entire experience?
That's a good question. I'd probably really just say of just being vulnerable. That's probably the first word that just comes to mind, because there are a lot of things I probably would have talked to the fellas outside of the camera, but like, we're all here for a reason. We can't leave. You know, I did say I wanted to see this. I commend my partner for kind of giving me that strength and stuff too, because not to make this sound bad, Christal, oftentimes I think people, oh, good looking, great looking people got it going on, or they don't have any kind of, you know what I'm saying? I hate to sound arrogant. Like, I'm human just like anybody else. That doesn't mean I'm better than anybody. Yeah. So it's like, let me try to just be honest and let the chips fall where they may is probably the best thing. So like I said, you got to be able to laugh, smile through the bullshit, laugh at yourself some of the moments. And I think that's the best part about it, right? Like I didn't have the most endearing moments, even though I feel like I acquitted myself very well. But there's some moments you might laugh at editing, but it's not enough for me to get on these profiles and start talking. Like, it is what it is. So man, be vulnerable, have some fun with it, and it's growth, you know. And that's probably just the best way for me to say that. You know, it's just growth.
That's what's up. We appreciate it, and we appreciate you hanging out with us. We know you're on PST time, so it's not as late there as it is here. But it's been a great conversation. We appreciate your candor and your transparency tonight.
Amen.
Much love, y'all. Appreciate y'all. Y'all be safe. Have a good weekend. All right.
Thank you. You too.
All right.
That was a good interview. Very good interview. Now, I appreciate his honesty, because there was a lot happening tonight. We had a good time though. And you know, guys, I did not want to play the music during the interview just because it was a serious interview. Even when I did ask about the accent gel now. But we do know that come on, Pajama Mo. Come on. Go back, take it back. Yes. We had to do it. Yes, Sunny Rain. Yes. TB, I hope you were there to see it. I hope you didn't check out before we did it, because we had to get into it. But that was a great interview. I like Greg. I like Greg, and he's only 33. He's in a good place.
Wives and boys for that thing. I like Greg.
Yeah.
I like him on the show, but just to see it carry on through this interview and this energy, voice of reason. I like him.
I liked it. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I was not expecting the reason for the breakup to be the nails. I was not expecting that. That was a surprise.
I ain't paying for that shit. It's midnight. When we had,
I just paid for Benihana.
Yeah, I just paid $200.
Does it ever end? What am I made of, money?
Right.
I'm 33.
Right. She timed that wrong.
Wrong, lady. Now, first of all,
she timed that wrong. School them, Christal. School them.
You don't do that right then. You don't do it. What happened is, see, that's an amateur move. So she probably felt like, oh, we've had a good date. We're having a good time. I'm going to sneak this in. No. And especially if you got to, first of all, you got to look at what your man is doing. Now, he did allude to the fact that she probably dated older gentlemen, which means that she probably enjoys older gentlemen's financial security. But you can't date a younger man. 33? He doesn't.
Like, ease up. You probably should have waited a day or two.
Well, you definitely should have waited until after first of all, if you're doing an esthetician, work out a deal to get your nails done. Like you don't do that.
You work at the place.
You work there, or just, but at the end of the day, if that's what your priority is, to have a man that's financially secure, then you may need to date an older man, right? Now, that older man, it ain't gonna look like this. That older man, my good sis, the older man ain't gonna look like that now. That's not what he's gonna look like.
He might be holding his arm like that though. If he has stroke.
Chances is he won't look like that in his Calvins. So you got to figure out what's more important to you. But I definitely don't think it wasn't about the nails. It was just about, we're unequally yoked at this point. And, goes back to, we talk a lot of women that security is a much more important priority, Yeah.
Mr. James ain't got no problem for going in his pocket.
James will get you a hot meal and get your nails and toes done. Probably put some tires on your car. I remember we went to this comedy show and this guy kept saying, it's an old man when he's like, I'll get you, let me take you out and get you a hot meal.
They always got stuff in their trunk.
Yeah, well, older women do too.
Like go in there and be like, hey, go in there and get you a case of, and like, what? You just have random cases of beverage?
Yeah, but that's because he probably got a good Costco card. He probably has extra. That's how older people. You know how we do.
They be ready. I ain't gonna hold you.
Yeah, and when you're young, you enjoy that. But I mean, ladies, But see, this is the thing. If you're looking to really want a family, a lot of times, I did an interview tonight. I can't wait to share this with you guys next week. I interviewed Kendra G from Singles Live, and who is very popular here on Instagram. I mean, on YouTube and on Instagram. You guys trust me. This interview is great. We had a great conversation. Can't wait to share that next week. But, you got to know what you're looking for. You got to know what you're looking for. And if you want to build with someone, that you're looking to have a life with, you can't expect him to be all the way there at 33,
Guess what? You might find them on the 13th if you're here in Atlanta.
You may find him on the 13th, ladies. And if you want to, be on a reality show and try your luck, we have a casting agent that is going to be there. We're just asking people to bring their pictures, bring at least 3 photos of yourself. And we have some forms for you to fill out, and we can give it to the casting agent right there. It's an opportunity for you to shoot your shot at being on reality TV, since a lot of you want to do that. So we just want to offer options, right? I talked to Kendra, and we also are going to be encouraging people to sign up for her dating app. So at our event, you can sign up for the dating app at the event. We got some surprises coming. Of course, you guys know there's free drinks, Seagram's Escapes. Come out, get your drink.
First hour for all the ladies.
Make sure that you're subscribed to the channel. It's going to be a good time. And there's no excuse. But you can come out, get the chance to be on a reality show or just meet some cool people. Or it doesn't even have to be about finding a match. You may just want something to do on a Saturday. Do something different.
6 to 10, they got a deck. It's patio, right?
It's a patio. And most importantly, we all know that there is nothing that feels as good as 90s R&B.
Oh, there you go.
Nothing feels as good. If you go to our page right now, we have the flyer up, and Come and Talk to Me by Jodeci is like that. Nothing feels as good as Come and Talk to Me by Jodeci. Nothing. Tell me something that feels better than that, Mo.
You don't want me to tell you. But other than that, music-wise and feel-wise, yes, that everyone can share. It's nothing better than that. It's not, and you might wind up with that anyway if you make a connection there. So it all ties in together, y'all.
Oh, thank you, Greg. Thank you, Greg. Oh, Greg sent us a super chat and said, y'all are amazing. Thank you, Christal and Moe. Please tell your supporters I said thank you for their support and follow my journey at _the Greg Hill. Trust me, Greg, I believe that most of our followers are following your page. And I just want to put the picture up one more time for the ladies.
They like you in your drawers, Greg.
They like and Mo has a problem with the cup. I like it. It lets us see the definition right here.
No, I thought he got punched in the arm. I couldn't tell, but I like that, Greg.
Well, but he has a bicep and he's sharing it. He's showing us that
he got more. He got more than what I got, so I can't.
Let's see yours. Put it over there. Put it.
Not right. I ain't doing no push-ups today. Not right.
Well, we appreciate. Yeah, Queen said, "Oh, we already got your IG, Greg. So y'all go show Greg some love.
There you go.
Not even just for the Calvin Kleins, but for the conversation tonight. We really appreciate the.
It was a great.
Yeah, help people out there, other men that will see this, and other women.
Ain't that bad coming up in here and just talking. I want to encourage our brothers when we do the show on Wednesdays and Dating Diaries. Come up. We're gonna make it comfortable for you.
We're gonna have a good time. And we do have, you guys, I'm gonna let you guys know on Sunday we're gonna come back with an exclusive because we have another special guest. We're not gonna tell you who it is, but trust me, when you get the alert, you don't want to miss out on Sunday's show. Our talent booker is on the case, and we have an amazing surprise on Sunday. So make sure that you are paying attention. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure that you like this so that Greg feels the love support for today's conversation. Lee 8 says she just followed Greg. You guys go follow Greg. Go show Greg some love. We love you all. And it is 12:23 here in the ATL. Jaquaris is chilling here. He has been listening. You guys can't see him, but I promise I'm going to get this fixed. I'm going to get this fixed so you guys can see him as he's swimming there. He has been listening in, but it's going to be a good conversation on Sunday. Make sure that you're tuned in there. We are officially finished with the Friday night recaps, but we got some new stuff coming up, so you guys stay tuned. We'll still be meeting here on Friday nights. It'll just be a different conversation. Heads in beds, Miss Rhonda, you're right. You know that Gun Boss is about to hit me up like, where are you at?
Oh, it's coming.
Where you at? We love you guys for watching. Yes. Much love to the XO family. Make sure that you like this on the way out, and we will see you all right here Sunday at 8. Make sure you're subscribed so you get that notification. We'll see you back here Sunday. Have a great weekend, guys.
There you go. Be easy. I'll be safe.